they found another way. The Giants now have won 9 straight.
Yeah. See, I don't know if I would have given Long Old Baby today off a walk-off walk, but it was an impressive bottom of the 9th inning, so I'm going to give it to you anyway. Oh, baby! And find another way. It's Kite Sand in NBC Sports Bay Area. I'm sorry, folks, as we say good morning to everybody getting off their graveyard shift. Hopefully you had a great day. Great Tuesday, that is. It is a wacky Wednesday, a Warrior Wednesday, that is. Here at 95.7 The Game. Good morning to everybody out there getting ready for work. Giants win their 9th in a row. Beat the Padres 4-3. Bashasky, as I say, good morning to you, YouTube, Twitch, and Comcast Business Text Line, Spadonia Lubman. We're going to start with the Giants, but I had a hard time not looking at the Padres saying, damn, they are a mess. I could not get over the last 2 games. Late in the execution. Walking guys, not finding the strike zone, getting caught at third base in a rundown, getting caught stealing in the second at bat of the game 2 days ago. I can't get over how bad Bo Mel is managing that team. I can't get over how bad they are fundamentally. They are an absolute joke. All the money they spent in the world, and they can't get the little things right. I could not get over that all night long. Although Giants, look, give them their credit. They're not swinging at bad pitches. They're doing a great job of taking pitches. Casey Schmidt did a great job there. Luis Matos, but I couldn't get over the Padres last night.
Well, who won the offseason this year?
It's about like maybe the Padres.
Mets, Padres, like certain teams that have these
Cardinals.
Huge. I mean, even the Cardinals, they kind of like moved off some guys at the deadline last year to kind of free up some room. But it feels like teams that won at the offseason are really struggling. Now, the Twins are one of the few teams that it feels like the Correa deal is a long-term deal for them. We'll see, but their pitching's looking really good. Mets are struggling.
They're bad.
Struggling. I'm looking at the Phillies acquiring Trey Turner. They've been struggling, underperforming what most people expected, even with some of their injuries heading into this year. And then obviously the Padres, who are the template for what everyone was looking at and going, wow, you are a quote-unquote small market team. You're spending gazillions of dollars. Manny Machado opts out. You give him another 10-year deal. Xander Bogaerts gets an 11-year deal. Juan Soto still hasn't gotten paid. Fernando Tatis coming back off of a suspension. He's going to miss the first month. Yep. And it just feels like there are a bunch of individuals trying to play the game. And even though it's a team sport, it's kind of actually really an individual sport, you got to understand – you got to keep the line moving. And I look at that team as you're talking about guys running off of bases and things like that. It doesn't feel like they're keeping the line moving. It's like, I'm trying to get mine. Fernando Tatis Jr. feels like a mercenary right now. He feels like the odd man out on that team.
He does, even though he is carrying that lineup.
He's been awesome. But I don't think they like him.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. They need to get to like him. I mean, that shouldn't inhibit you from not swinging at bad pitches.
I agree.
It shouldn't enable you to not getting caught on the base pass like Kim did early in the game. Look, they've left 18 guys on base in the first 2 games of the series to go down 0-2. And they had chances Monday night and Tuesday night to blow the game open.
Agreed.
They had a chance to blow the game open. Look, Anthony DeSclafani was not good yesterday. I'm sorry, folks. He was just not good. All right? The Giants got away with one. And I'm thinking to myself, how are they going to sustain this? Now, I don't want to rain on anybody's parade. They won 9 in a row. They're on fire right now. But I want to take a long, just a month from now. They're 9 games over 500. The Padres, like the Diamondbacks, I don't see them letting the Giants off the hook for some of the mishaps early in the games. Lack of pitching, lack of execution offensively. The Padres, again, they come up with 10 hits yesterday. Early in the game, I'm thinking, boy, they got guys on second and third, bases loaded, first and third. DeSclafani was an absolute mess. It was an absolute mess. And the Padres, under Bob Melvin, who a lot of people think is one of the game's best managers. I don't, but a lot of people do. They failed to blow the game open, and the Giants just creep back in. Run in the 4th, run in the 7th, run in the 8th, run in the 9th. And it's just like, damn, the Padres I could not get over them.
Well, I find this fascinating, and I'm not questioning your thought process here. I want to have this conversation. Like in baseball, obviously there's like pitching changes.
Right.
And there's, substitutions. Right. For example, last night in the 9th inning, after Crawford gets a base hit to tie the game.
Right.
he takes him out of the game in a pinch hit situation in the ninth so that he can go Casey Schmidt righty on lefty against Hader. And Casey Schmidt, draws his second walk in 2 straight days. Wow. I'm going to be real with you. I'd have a really difficult time taking out one of the greatest shortstops in Giants history, even if he's at the end of his career, after a clutch hit. Like, I know what the numbers say. I'm telling you, me, Joe Shasky, would have a very hard time subbing out Brandon Crawford in that situation, knowing that Casey Schmidt's been chasing a lot over the last month, right? And he does that right there. So that's a great managerial move that works out in your favor.
No doubt.
But, like, running the bases, isn't that on the players?
Yeah.
Driving in runs with runners and scoring bases. So, like, I struggle with where to associate the blame.
Well, it's not all on. No doubt. It's not all on Bo Mel. It's on the players. There's no doubt they have to execute better. They have to throw strikes. Garcia and Carlton Monday night not throwing strikes.
Exactly.
But Bo Mel being rattled there in that inning, strikes. He's sneaking like, what do I do? What did I do? You left Nick Martinez out there for too long. Nick Martinez should not be starting the 9th inning.
He's not very good.
He's not very. I mean, why is he starting the 9th inning?
And you have a lefty coming back in Joc Pederson, and he's going to crush righties.
Right, no doubt. But then you bring in Josh Hader. He's getting ready to throw the first pitch, and the pitching coach comes out. He comes out to go talk to Josh Hader.
It's so weird.
It was so weird, and I'm like, oh my God, this team is a disaster.
And then a veteran, even if we're 3 months in. You get a pitch clock violation late in that game? Like, Hader, you're too elite, supposedly, to have that happen. This isn't the first week of the season.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's 3 months in. Like, I don't know. So it's interesting because the Bo Mel thing, he's a guy, I believe, he gets rattled.
He does get rattled. He looked rattled Monday night in the dugout.
I agree.
And last night he looked rattled in the dugout, and he's pacing back and forth, and he lost control of that baseball game. He lost control of it. And his team kind of plays off his energy. That's what I'm looking at him in the day. While Gabe Kapler's been calm, cool, and collected in that dugout, the Giants have taken that approach. Matos with that at bat in the 9th inning, drawing the walk, and he's talking that talk. Casey Schmidt drawing the walk. You get a Patrick Bailey single. Think about that in the 9th inning. The bottom of the 9th inning.
It was incredible.
The 3 guys you brought up contributed to that win there in the 9th inning.
Well, and to me, that's one of those, innings where you put it on a loop in the AAA and AA locker rooms, and you say, guys, this is how you conduct professional at-bats if you want to play for the San Francisco Giants organization, right?
Yep,
I mean,
no doubt.
The plate discipline for Schmidt to lay off some of those pitches when, let's be real, he's swinging at everything recently. And it's funny because Gabe Kapler says in the postgame, well, he had a great BP, and we worked on some things in the cage. And I'm thinking, really? And you just gonna like yank again? Crawford got a huge base hit to tie the game, or at least to make the game 3-2. Excuse me, to make the game 3-2. The at bat prior. I don't know, man. I think I kind of misdiagnosed Kapler, or maybe Kapler. Maybe he's evolved. I thought he was way more uptight.
Maybe
You know what I mean? Like that first year,
no
I
doubt.
thought he was way more uptight, and maybe I miscast him. Maybe I don't know, because he feels so much more relaxed.
Now, I kept thinking, because Anthony DeSclafani,
he's not good enough.
Just 8 hits, 1
walk. He's a
walk.
4-5.
Yeah, 5 innings pitch. He gave up 3 runs, but he kept them in the game. And again, another bullpen arm. On Monday night, it was Gwynn, right? It was Christian Gwynn, who joined Willard and Dibbs yesterday. Last night, it was Tristan Beck, giving you 3 innings.
You know where they got him?
Where did they get him?
In the Mark Melanson deal.
Wow. That's incredible.
Isn't that kind of crazy?
That is incredible. And a couple years later, he's helping you out to win a big game in June. That is kind of wild there.
It's kind of crazy. Lubman's ready to throw a Farhan parade today because of that deal.
Who is?
Lubman.
Oh, my God.
The summer of Lub. I walk in, I go, Lubby, how you doing? And he's like, you scoffed at Farhan. What about the Tristan Beck
deal? Did he really do that?
Lubman?
Wow.
Where is he? He's somewhere back
there. But
you know
what? Farhan, let's be real here. Farhan runs everything.
It's not Pete Pachulia?
No, it's Farhan Zaidi. It's his show.
Most people have no idea who Pete Pachulia is.
The guy who came over for the Astros. So you got to give Giants fans credit. Give our audience some credit. We got some intelligent folks out there.
Fans are flocking to the stadium.
They are flocking to the stadium. Well, it's summertime.
Yeah,
it's nice weather. They are going, though. They want, again, this is why I think this is a 2-team market. Look, people thought, well, the Giants may not get crowds. They got 32,000 last night. If you win, they will come. If you win, people will come. No matter what. I saw it at Levi Stadium. How many people complained about Santa Clara? Oh, my God, Santa Clara's too far. Once they started winning, wasn't nobody complaining about the drive anymore. Nobody's complaining about the parking lot. They're going to the game because they want to be there. Once the Giants win, they will come. right? You got young, exciting players. You got some flair on this team. People will come. If you win, you cannot discount the bandwagon fans.
Well, that's obvious.
There's diehards, there's casuals, and there's bandwagoners.
Well, the bandwagoners are the ones that help fill your stadium on a Wednesday and Tuesday night.
So they're coming.
Yes.
They're coming. And as long as the Giants continue to win, I expect big crowds all week long. Plus, you got stars of the Padres. People want to see these guys.
Well, that's the other thing I want to say is I'm looking at Juan Soto. He has I believe it's one more year because it's tough because it says like this is the fourth year of arbitration because he was like a Super 2 guy. He fits AT&T Park. Juan Soto going oppo. I mean, he had a beautiful opposite field. I believe it was a double early in the game.
Yeah.
He's had 2 home runs going oppo. Whatever it is about our stadium, he sees the ball well.
Is that the guy they go after the offseason?
Yes, that's the guy to go get.
Is that the guy they go get?
And he's the lefty power bat that you kind of don't have in the system right now.
Yeah. Oof.
Bonte. I mean, defensively, he's not the greatest.
You could DH him.
That's what I'm saying.
You DH him.
You're telling
Hide
me
him
at
in
the
left.
middle of that order, you like moving forward, you've got some version of Estrada, Matos, and you throw in him in there.
Right.
Like he's the $400 million 10-year player that I'd be going after.
I do have a question, man. My guy Harry Barrison loves a tweet. Shout out to Harry out there.
What's
Hope him
that?
and Rose are doing well. Their baby girls are getting older
9
and
in a
older
row.
and older. 9 in a row. But he had a tweet, and they really hit me. I meant to
What's
text
that?
him last night. He said, we need to get pitching ASAP. This is not sustainable. And I wonder, and it's not, they've won 9 in a row. We're going to celebrate that. They're hot right now. They're 9 games
On
over
fire.
500. They're winning. They won the first 2 games of this series. But, it's the middle of June, and they're using all these arms. And I saw Sean Jelly warming up yesterday and I almost had a heart attack. I did. I was like, oh, my God, Sean Jelly. Oh, no, this game's going to get off the rails here. I'll go to bed a little earlier than usual. Is this sustainable? Can they continue to get by? I mean, they're getting by in the month of June, and they've got literally one pitcher right now. And it's Logan Webb. Mm-hmm. It's Logan Webb. It's not DeSclafani. Cobb's hurt. Are you going to start Sean Manaea? Are you going to? Where's Ross Stripling at? Is this sustainable for the Giants? Can they continue to win like this?
Well, okay, so I believe at some point you will overexpose or overtax your bullpen. But to this point, shockingly, if you look at usage rates,
yeah.
they've actually haven't used that many of their relievers because they've done a really good job on the taxi squad.
Yeah.
They bring in random guys up. Randomly, guys have been going to the IL at certain times to where maybe they don't get overtaxed. And so it feels like they've massaged it for now. But let's call it B. They're walking a tightrope.
They are. That's
They're
all I'm
walking
saying.
a tightrope.
That's all
that
I'm saying.
At any moment they could fall
Right.
and hurt themselves.
13-4 in the month of June. 13-4 in the month of June. Unbelievable. They've won 9 in a row. They beat the Padres
Joc
with a
batting
walk-off.
360 something in the month of June.
I mean, that home run yesterday to tie it. Long, majestic home run. It was a hell of a swing. And was he even supposed to play yesterday because Lamont Wade Jr. got scratched?
He got told in pregame that he was going to bat leadoff. He's never batted leadoff in his career.
After the Lamont Wade Jr. news?
After the scratch.
So he wasn't even supposed to play last night.
No. And by the way,
Joc
his at-bats
Pederson.
are so goofy.
They hurt.
They're just he looks like a little league at-bat, and I kind of love it for him.
Did you see the way they were celebrating? And he's kind of just like, he's such an odd duck.
He is an odd duck.
Hey, that's all fine. It's all good. The Giants at this point, somebody asked a question. What was their record back on
They're
June 21st
a couple games
last
off
year?
of 2021.
So last year at this point, they were
last year.
Last year they were actually 38-29 on June 21st.
Were they?
They just beat the Braves 12-10,
Wow.
and I remember the series.
Wow.
They just beat the Braves, and Mark Willard came here during the crossover, and I was they need some damn swagger. And this is not fun. And
When did the
they're 9
slap
games
happen?
over 500, and then they lost 3 straight after that crossover. Then they beat the Reds. Then they beat the Tigers, and then they lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight games, and that was it. Then they won 8. They lost 8 of 9 at that point. Hell, it wasn't even 8 of 9. It was 12 of 14 after 9 games over 500.
Well, the DeSclafani thing is very concerning because to me, you paid him to be a 2, and he's been barely a 4, right?
Is he a 2? Did he get paid to be a 2?
I mean, on this team, the way they value pitching, it feels like they did. Maybe I'm being aggressive. Maybe it was more of a 3.
Yeah.
But Bonte, I don't think he's been good enough. He's had a couple of good starts, especially early in the year. His month of April was very good.
Yep.
Outside of that, he's had 2 what I would deem to be good starts since April.
Yeah.
2.
Yeah, that's I just.
He's got a 7 ERA in June.
He's got to step his game
And
up.
it's the hits. To me, it's the walks plus the hits in the amount of innings per pitch. He's basically averaging 1.25 walks and hits per inning pitched. That means there's a runner on. And then if you look at his splits when he has a runner on second or a runner on third or runners on second and third, these guys are batting like 500 off him.
Yeah, no, that's not good.
No.
It's not good.
He's got to bear down. That's what rookies do.
Well, you talk about bearing down, and I was at that Orioles game on a Sunday afternoon. He doesn't get a call. He gives up a couple reeky-deeky hits, and he loses it mentally. And he just loses everything. The wheels just fall straight off the train.
I trust Beck much more and Wynn much more than DeSclafani right now.
Wow, that's not
sentences
good.
I didn't expect to say this year.
That's not good.
Because I
That's
saw
not
Beck
good.
against Arizona. I was like, who's this guy? And I didn't even know who the hell he was.
Yeah, I didn't know who the hell Tristan Beck was. I didn't know who Kristen Wynn was. But you know what? 2 straight guys.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what? And look, you got to give Farhan some credit here. Give Farhan some credit here. Now, the offseason, he's got to learn how to sign guys. That's been a failure. Signing guys to help the roster. That's a big-time failure.
Yeah.
But you got to give him credit on some of these guys. And that's what he does. He does find pitchers.
Well, he works the back end of the roster.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'll give him that.
And you know what? It's not really a 26-man roster. It's more like a 33-man roster because he's calling guys
Agreed.
left and right, up and down,
they
up
use
and
the
down.
IL. They use the IL as a way of sending guys down and up. Like, I know that's me, sounding like I'm being nefarious or they're being nefarious, but let's call it what it is. That's what they're using. They're using the IL to their advantage.
Well, the Dodgers used to do that a lot, too. They still do that a lot, too, where they'll kind of hide guys on the IL, especially pitchers, to kind of get them, extra rest.
Lovey. Now that you're here. Okay. The Mark Melancon trade. Give Bonte what you gave me the second I walked in the door.
Oh, it's become one of Farhan's best trades. I mean, just when they got rid of him at first, getting off that contract was huge. But then, the way that, I never expected anything from Tristan Beck, and he's been one of their most solid options out of the bullpen, especially this month. 0.75 ERA in the month of June so far.
Unbelievable.
For Mark Melancon multiple years ago.
Unbelievable.
I thought it was just a salary dump.
Yeah, this is just unreal what's going on with the San Francisco Giants right now. We're going to talk to Richard Ray about it at 8:30. We'll talk to Tony Gwynn Jr. at 8 o'clock. And yes, folks, he sounds just like his father, Tony Gwynn. So don't be surprised by that. He sounds just like him, but he's got it. I'm so excited about the Giants winning 9 in a row. But again, watching the late innings of that game, looking at just the other team, I'm saying, are the Padres really this bad? They don't look like Bob Melvin doesn't look like he can rectify that situation.
No.
I don't know.
I think they're in for trade. That's what it feels like to me. They're going to move off one of these big guys.
They have no bullpen.
No.
They
Hader's
don't
not the same.
He's not the same, but he doesn't pitch well. He's got like an ERA over 6 against the Giants.
I think the Brewers identified Devin Williams moving forward and
Devin
moved
Williams,
off of Hader at the right time.
Yep.
That was a really shrewd trade.
No, it was a good trade. It was a good trade for them. But Hader not being able to throw a strike. Nick Martinez throwing up all over himself.
Their starting pitching's whack.
They literally blew 2 games in the first 2 games of the series. The Giants stole them. They stole them, but that's what good teams do. Good teams take advantage of mistakes other teams make.
And I think the Brewers came back to beat the Diamondbacks yesterday.
Did they?
I think they beat them 7-5.
7-5. They did.
Yeah.
They did. So now the Giants
Look at my Brewers.
Look at the Giants. 2.5 back of the Diamondbacks right now. 2 games back of the loss column. Dodgers 3.5 back of the Diamondbacks. So we got a race, boys, in the NL West. It's midsummer. There's no June swoon for the Giants right now. They're 13-4 in June. They've won 9 in a row. Everybody's feeling good. The sun is shining at the yard.
You know what we're not going to do?
What's that?
We're not going to opine for Madison Bumgarner to be signed by the Giants.
Oh, boy.
Because I've had a few texts, and I'm telling everybody, no.
Madison Bumgarner?
I did no. We're not upsetting the apple cart.
Oh, boy.
We've got nothing but perfect apples. I don't want a rotten one spoiling my crate.
Right. No doubt. No doubt. I see you, 707 Comcast Business Text Line. I see you. Where's my reads at? Oh, the segment is brought to you by Go to State Lumber, serving the Bay Area for 3 generations. When you succeed, we succeed. Visit GoToStateLumber.com. What's coming up on the game sponsored by the law offices of Robert Goldstein. More on the Giants. Is this sustainable? 888-957-9570. When do they need to make a deal if they need to make a deal? DeSclafani, not good. All right, you get Logan Webb Friday to set the tone against Arizona. We got Alex Wood Thursday night. Tonight is a bullpen game for the Giants. Can they survive this stretch here with all these injuries that they have? Lamont Wade Jr. was scratched last night. Joc Pederson wasn't even supposed to play, yet he draws a game-winning walk. He hits a game-tying home run, and the Giants win their 9 straight. We're going to continue to roll on the orange and black 888-957-9570. If you have IRS or state tax problems and don't know what to do, contact the law offices of Robert Goldstein because resolving tax problems is all that they do. Call 188-TAX-EXIT, 888-TAX-EXIT. Soda!
And he did.
You can never count us out. I think that's what great teams are made of. Your back's up against the wall. We faced some good pitchers over the past couple of weeks that have dominated us through 5 innings, and we're behind in the game, but we find a way to claw back, and then our bullpen's doing a great job holding them there, and it's been fun to be a part of. We got 26 guys pulling on the same string, and it's a pretty powerful thing.
Now, back to the morning roast with Vontae and Shasky.
Court Arman, Sam Lubman, the official 95.7 Game insider for all San Francisco Giants baseball. 7th time in the last 14 games they've won a game when trailing after 6 innings. And you heard from Joc right there, facing some good pitching, getting shut down for the first 5 innings, but the bullpen stabilizing everything. Giants got one of the best bullpens in the National League. They've stabilized after that, boy. Now can you get some starting pitching, and can you get the offense rolling a little earlier? That'd be something they need to work on, but that's Joc Pederson right there. He wasn't even supposed to play, folks. What is late night Lamont Wade Jr. gets pulled from right straight. What is that, right side tightness?
Yeah.
So he gets pulled, scratched. I'm thinking, damn, another injury? Joc plays, game-tying home run. You heard it from Kipe right there. And, of course, he has a game-winning walk against Josh Hader as the Giants win their 9th in a row. They improved to 13-4 in the month of June. They're 9 games over 500. They're rolling right now, folks.
Here's a couple of nuggy nugs. In the 9-game winning streak, they've trailed in 5 of those games in the 7th inning or later. And just overall this year, 137 runs scored in the 7th inning or later. And that is a major league lead.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
I mean,
they don't get rattled. It's kind of reminiscent of 2021.
Absolutely. I mean, you see Slater get an at-bat yesterday in a pinch hit situation, draws a walk. You see Casey Schmidt get a pinch hit situation late in the game, draws a walk. Like, things are still kind of falling into place for them. I keep going back to some of the pitching changes from Bo Mel. He's got the lefty in. And you know that Joc Pederson's coming up at some point, somewhere in there. You know that they're short a guy who's not on the IL because of Lamont Wade being out. And you go to the righty, knowing that the lefty's coming up, and then you have Hader, another lefty, and then so you start with the righty in the 9th inning. Like, I don't know. The whole sequence didn't make sense.
No, it didn't make sense. Bo Mel got rattled. The Padres got rattled. They couldn't throw strikes for the second straight 9th inning, or hell, even the 10th inning yesterday, or Monday night. So they're a mess, and the Giants win 2 in a row to start this series, 9 in a row overall. By the way, our boy Scotty on the text line from the 480 Comcast Business text line, that is. Scotty saying Kyle Harrison was pulled from his minor league start last night. You think he's getting pulled up to start today? I guess Ryan Walker is slated, but what's the latest on Kyle Harrison, Shasky, or Lovett? I know you guys are deep in the minor leagues.
Yeah, no, everybody was sending me this during the game yesterday, and I'm like, I don't know. And then I heard from multiple people that Willard had heard that basically they kind of made a mistake. He wasn't scheduled to start that day. He should start today or tomorrow. That was what he was set. So he wasn't yanked from a start. I think there was miscommunication on when he was going to start. But that's what Mark said, that he was trying to clarify that.
What's the holdup with him in terms of coming up to the major leagues?
I mean, I just don't think he's accrued enough time and innings. And look, pitching's really hard, man. Pitching's really hard. And I think that, I think you could become a hitter. Not that either one is easier than the other, but just my particular feel on this. When you're 21 and you're not, 23, 20, there's a prerequisite number of batters and innings and, situations that you have to see that a team wants to see for them to feel comfortable for you. Right. And if he's going to be a starter, which I don't know what they're like, what's his entry point? Is he going to be a guy coming out of the bullpen or a starter? To me, if you bring him up now, he's like a 1-2 inning guy. I don't know if that's the appropriate measure for him right now when you already have a stacked bullpen. You need a starter. So if you're going to bring him up to be a starter, I think a couple of more starts down in the minors before we get to this point. Prove you can go through 5 consistently down there. All right.
I'm not trying to rush him. I'm just asking a question, folks. I'm just asking a question about Kyle Harrison. We've heard his name.
I think everyone's asking the question.
All season long.
No, everyone's asking it.
And I'm asking the question now because Anthony DeSclafani's barely giving you 5. All right, he's giving you 8 innings in his last 2 starts.
I know.
He's got to face the Diamondbacks on a Sunday. What the hell is going on with Anthony DeSclafani? Or is he just cooked? Is he washed? I mean, he got another year with $12 million left on the deal, so what's going on with him? 415 Comcast Business text line because we're asking the question, is this sustainable? throughout the summer. Can the Giants continue to win like this?
You're not going to win all year falling behind. But for right now, it's really good. Look, they'll regress a little. That's going to happen. But for right now, ride the wave. And here's the best part about it. With the unbalanced schedule, right, where you used to face the NL West 19 times per team, these matchups against the Dodgers
are massive.
Against the Padres?
Massive.
Against the Diamondbacks?
Massive.
So
you have to win these games.
These are huge.
You have to win these games.
They don't play the Dodgers. You don't see the Dodgers again until September?
September 21st is the next time they face the Dodgers. September 21st.
And here's the other thing. I want to dispel this misnomer. Service time regarding Harrison. The way it works, you need a full year of service time. They count every day. A full year to qualify for a full year. So whether they bring him up now or 5 weeks from now, it's irrelevant because once he comes up, he's probably going to be up forever, right? So they're not going to get a full season of service time out of Harrison. They've already accrued enough. Matos does not get a full season of service time because he got brought up in the middle of the year. It does not matter. Once you're up, you're up.
Think about this. They
changed some of the Super 2 language and stuff. Think
about this.
In the last CBA.
After they play the Diamondbacks 3 times this weekend.
When's the next time they see him? Because they already went to Arizona earlier this year.
They see him again July 31st at home for a 4-game set.
Okay.
July 31st, August 1st, 2nd, 3rd. And then they play him twice in September, 19th and 20th.
Those are going to be huge.
So basically 9 games left against the Diamondbacks.
Deadline
3 this weekend. They don't play the Dodgers until September 21st. So they have 7 games against the Dodgers in the last 10. 7 of their last 10, the Giants, that is, are against the Dodgers. Wow. Then they don't play the Padres again until August 31st. So after these next 2 games against the Padres, they have them 7 more times. Now, think about the last 10 games for the Giants. Last 12 games in the regular season for the Giants. 4 against the Dodgers, 3 against the Padres. Or actually, excuse me, 2 against the Diamondbacks, 4 against the Dodgers, 3 against the Padres, and then 3 against the Dodgers.
Well, and I was thinking long and hard about our conversation yesterday regarding, making a move. And I don't want to get bogged down by who they'd give up. They do need to make a move for a major league pitcher.
Yeah, they need a starter.
They need a major league starter. And at this point, I don't care if it's a high-end guy or a middle-of-the-road guy. They need to jump the market, and they need to go out and get something because every team in baseball is looking for a starter. And I think you need to be ahead of the curve on this one. You need to ride your hot wave. And right now, send the message to the clubhouse. We're all in on this year in terms of we're going to send you reinforcements. Well, not that we're going to trade away the future or anything like that, but we're going to bring you reinforcements.
Well, I'm looking at a cheap option here. Maybe you could get this guy from Detroit right now, and that's Eduardo Rodriguez. Eduardo Rodriguez, former Red Sox, now with the Detroit Tigers. He's having a phenomenal season. 67 innings pitched, 67 strikeouts, 2.13 ERA, 0.9 whip.
Yeah, it's really
9.8 whip. Excuse me. Now, he's been hurt for the last few weeks. Now, he's 30 years old. He's a lefty. He threw a bullpen session on Tuesday. He's scheduled to face hitters on Saturday in a live batting practice. So he's getting closer and closer to returning. Remember, he hit the injured list back in May with a left index finger pulley rupture. Now, a lot of guys have been out for 2 to 3 months there. But it looks like there's a chance he'll return sometime in July. So let's see if he can get healthy. That could be a cheap option to where you don't have to give up a high-level prospect. Now, I got to look at his deal, see what the years are, the contract or whatnot. But you got to figure that a team like the Detroit Tigers will be in sell mode. What are some other pitchers? We already talked about Shane Bieber. We talked about Marcus Stroman. That may cost you something because they're under control, under team control for, Shane Bieber's under control throughout next season. Marcus Stroman signed, a 3-year deal with the Chicago Cubs. So he may be tougher to nab. I don't know what other pitchers are out there, but they definitely need, if DeSclafani is going to give you that.
100%.
And you can't start Sean Manaea. I don't know how long you could duct tape this thing together.
Well, I'm interested to see where the Mets are at because they're a team that has a lot of pitching, older pitching. Boy, wouldn't it be? I'm just.
Could they sell in New York City?
No, I don't think they would. You know what? Let's talk about it on the other side.
All right, we'll talk about it on the other side, and that's will be brought to you by Fremont Bank, full service banking, no compromises.
Where are you?
Asteroid City.
My word, it's hot.
From director Wes Anderson.
Morning Roast is live on YouTube right now. Take it away, Bonte.
Shout out John Sterling. WFAN, New York City. Yankees beat the Mariners 3-1. They got drama. I'm telling you, baseball right now is heating up. Look at the Braves out loud. I'm just looking at the scoreboard here, and I'm enjoying this time of the season. We got the NBA draft tomorrow. We'll talk about that at some point. You got the Warriors. What the hell's going on in the offseason? You see Draymond Green at the Louis Vuitton party. Pharrell does a lot of things with Louis Vuitton now, like their whole spring catalog. So you saw Beyonce,
The producer,
Jay-Z.
rapper.
Yeah, Pharrell.
Stylist.
Yes. Beyonce, Jay-Z. P-Lo was out there. P-Lo, our bad P-Lo. Out there in Paris. Paris.
Wow.
Looking beautiful. We'll love to go.
You mean Paris?
Or Paris,
Oh,
as Kanye would say.
Oh.
Remember the Punk'd? Remember Punk'd, the show, MTV?
Yeah.
So they
Ashton
punked
Kutcher.
Kanye. He was shooting something, and they were like, he's like, I got to go to Paris. I got to go to Paris. I got to get on this flight and go to Paris. It was wild. So that we called it Paris.
Gotcha. Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So,
All right, gotcha.
No old episode of Punk'd. Old episode of Punk'd.
It was an underrated show.
I think so.
But
Ashton Kutcher produced it, right? He
Yeah.
would be in behind the scenes. Yeah.
It was good.
It was good. Then it ran its course like everything else.
Absolutely.
Pimp My Ride got a little wacky.
Exhibit X to the Z. You were asking me about, the trade targets and stuff, and everyone's going to want to have one of those top tier frontline guys. Here's a team that I'm identifying. And look, I know their pitching's not great. All right. But I'm looking at them and I'm saying, can you eat some innings and at least be a stalwart for us? What about somebody like from the Cardinals right
Jordan
now?
Montgomery?
What?
Jordan Montgomery?
Or Jack Flaherty. Either one. They're not great, but you know what? They're better than the alternative of running out the opener and exhausting your bullpen. And like Jack Flaherty's a great example of a guy. He's on like a $5 million deal. He's an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year. It wouldn't cost you much. It's a couple $1,000,000. They're kind of in sell mode when it comes to their team. Could you flip them a young catcher? Could you flip them?
Maybe.
I'm talking about like Joey Bart. Could you flip them something else? Like,
Well, they just signed Wilson Contreras to a big deal, so they probably are not interested in catching.
I mean,
but I hear what you're saying. Now, Flaherty's a guy who's having trouble throwing strikes. He used to be one of the game's elite pitchers. Got hurt. What he did something with his arm. I don't remember the specific
but he's
injury.
27.
I still think there's talent there.
It's a buy low
It's
proposition.
a buy low, and it's a reclamation project,
for
and
now.
we've seen the Giants fix some guys.
Yeah.
A la Kevin Gausman. I'd be open to that. I'd be open to that.
And I think it's one of those moves that doesn't cost you, sacrifice you huge prospects down the line. I mean, I like the White Sox. I like the St. Louis Cardinals. Like, I'm identifying teams that I believe to be out of it.
Yeah, no, he may be a good option. Maybe a good option. Now, I was looking at Eduardo Rodriguez's contract during the break, and he has an player opt-out after the season, and then there's 3 more years left on the deal. Now, he's 30 years old now. Next year, he'll be 31, so you got 3 more years left on the deal, $18 million, $16 million. That's 34 plus the 15. That's $49 million left on the deal after this season. So a 3-year, $49 million deal. He may opt in unless he pitches his ass off, and then he could come out, opt out, and get another contract. We'll see about that. But I like the Flaherty. His inability to throw strikes worries me. The velocity's down a little bit, but if he could eat your 5 innings up, what does it hurt, right? If you're not playing a guy, there's no harm there. It's a low risk, high reward move.
Would we agree for this year? It feels like there are multiple starting pitchers away.
Yeah.
I mean,
it feels
yes,
2 away.
high-end guy would change everything. We all agree. Those guys are hard to come by. They cost a lot.
Yep.
So let's just, to me, 2 mid-level guys does change things for the Giants.
That's not bad because you have an offense that's going to hit.
Exactly. And I have an elite weapon in a bullpen. Like,
Yeah.
I'm looking around and I'm saying, you've seen the Padre bullpen. Are you impressed?
No.
I like the Diamondback bullpen, but it's not murderer's row of arms.
Yeah, we'll see about it.
Man Supply's decent, and the heavyset guy that they got, I always forget his name. Chafin. You know what I mean? He's a really good player. But, I feel like the Giants have great diversity of arms and some elite weapons. And they've got an elite closer, right? And so they got different arm slots. You got a Tyler Rogers. You got Taylor Rogers. When Alexander comes back, he's kind of a funkier lefty.
Our boy Kyle
Austin
Nelson.
Jackson's filthy.
Yeah, our boy Kyle Nelson blew it yesterday. He didn't get the loss, but he blew the save there. But Kyle Nelson, our city guy, who joined the roast last year. He's got a 3.04 ERA, but a 1.43 whip. But he's pitched well so far this season, 33 innings, 32 strikeouts there. But I want to see their bullpen this weekend. We'll see what they do. They blew it in the 7th inning yesterday, giving up 4 runs against the Brewers up in Milwaukee. So a big loss for them. Man, Marte 3 for 5 yesterday. Marte's still a good player. Nobody talks about him.
Always been solid.
Nobody talks about him at all.
Low-key jacked.
What do you think the Diamondbacks do? They got Evan Longoria there at third base.
Hey, Evan's actually been solid this year.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Did you see about the AL vote leaders?
No, All-Star game?
Yeah.
You know I don't pay attention to that.
You didn't see Brandon Belt?
Where's he at?
Number 2.
All-Star voting?
Yeah, what a sham.
Why?
Should be number 1, seriously.
Oh, stop.
Get off the microphone. Seriously, he's number 2
I
at
swear
first base?
Guys.
First base?
No, I think in general.
Overall?
I think he's on the DH.
He didn't even play yesterday. He didn't even play yesterday.
It's such a joke.
What?
Canadians are really loyal to their own.
If he goes to the All-Star game in Seattle, I can already hear the Brendan Belt. Oh, he's an All-Star. Let me pull up his numbers. Brendan Belt, real quick.
Lamont Wade's been better than him. I don't even need to look at the numbers.
No, we don't need the
Lamont Wade
numbers.
has been a better baseball player this year than Brandon Belt, and it's not close.
Brendan Belt played last Saturday against the Twins.
Oh.
So he's had a few days off. Oh, he's got a hamstring injury right now. But he ran the bases yesterday without any issue. He's batting .263, 4 home runs, 16 RBIs this year. But his OPS is sitting at .812.
Oh, the OPS.
He's drawing those walks. Let's see, Brendan Belt. This year, what has he done this year? How many games does he play? I don't even want to rip on him. 48 games this season he's played in.
Yeah, which they're about 75 right now.
Struck out 67 times.
It's actually low for him.
Well, he struck out 81 times last year in 78 games. He's already struck out 67 times in only 48 games. It's not good. Let's see. The 4 home runs, 14 doubles, 40 hits, 18 runs. All right, well, at least he drew 27 walks this season.
He's hitting .323 since the start of May.
Oh, stop it. What can I ask?
I'm so glad he's gone.
Why do the Brandon, that is the weirdest of all the cults when it comes to fan bases, like for individual players. The Brandon Belt fan base is the oddest.
It's the most insufferable fan base out there.
Like, even at least Alex Smith was the quarterback of the Niners. I still look down on you if you are some Alex Smith lover. Like, I just look at you.
What if Alex Smith won a Super Bowl?
But like, if you're a Brandon Belt fan, like
Shasky, let me ask you something. What if Alex Smith won a Super Bowl? How does that change your opinion of him? You could laugh and brush
Belt
it off
did
all you
not
want.
win that
He was on the teams. He was a big part of both of those teams. He was the starting first baseman, the homegrown starting first baseman of the World Series champion San Francisco Giants, and he did it twice. If that is not enough for you to appreciate his contribution,
Get him, Sammy.
I'm sorry. What do you want as a Giants fan? You draft players to win championships. He helped win 2 championships. What more do you want, Shasky? What more do you want from Brandon Belt?
130 home run season?
Damn.
I would rather have a 30 home run season than 2 World Series champions. Come on.
He was the most Spates of 2012.
And the popcorn meme.
I mean, come on.
Hey, Mo Spates is a world champion with the Warriors. He's aces in my book. What does a 30 home run title do for you? Seriously, what does a 30 home run season do? Do you get a hat that says Brandon Belt hit 30 home runs in a season?
Should we rank 2012 and 2014 contributions for players who won the World Series that year in the playoffs? Should we rank
I really
them?
like this. We're going to really move the
exercise?
goalpost on how someone helps win a World Series.
Wow, he is spicy.
No, I'm serious. Like, you're going to go your entire life with 0 World Series champion. The first 30 years of your life, you got no World Series. And now we're here being like, oh, this guy was not that helpful to win a World Series.
And 250 strikeouts was playing first base, they were winning that World Series. You know why? Because Buster Posey was the MVP of the league, and Matt Cain was a hog. All right? And Vogelsong was ridiculous.
Listen, I'm not saying that Brandon Belt is the reason they won in 2012, but he was a part of 2 World Series championship teams. And that's all I need.
Damn.
Angel Pagan was more impactful in 2012 than
And
Brandon
he is
Belt.
also a forever giant, just like Brandon Belt.
Anybody want to see a dead body?
Brandon Belt!
I love how passionate Brandon Belt fans get.
It's not just about Brandon Belt. It's just like, again, if you're a Giants fan, what more do you want from players? Okay, like a 30 home run season would be cool, but you know what else is cool? Winning World Series championships.
Ooh. He's making some great points. Hey, let me just...
The guy hit 1 home run, 18-inning game. It was incredible. It was amazing. He actually had a decent 2014 World Series as well. But, come on. Let's just call it.
You know what?
Yeah, he only
really
had
good.
one decent World Series
really
that the
good.
Giants won. I guess he's
You're
not
acting
that
like
good.
you're acting like he's Will Clark or Patrick Willis or somebody who's like,
Hey, hold on.
You're acting like he's Brett Hill.
Can I get in here as your arbiter, please? Where's my gavel? Brandon Belt in 6 games in the NLCS in 2012. Boy, he had a big one. He had a really big one.
Oh, here we go.
He batted .304.
Oh, man.
Home run, triple, double, 7 hits and 25 at-bats, 6 runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts.
Was that the series he got
OPS.
lifted for Travis Ishikawa to hit a home run?
Hey, OPS
That was actually
925. OPS 925. He batted .305 in that NLCS.
Well,
Not
congratulations.
bad. Not bad. Big time contributor. Now, he didn't do nothing in the Cincinnati
Build
series.
the wall of fame for him.
I'm just saying. Pittsburgh, 2 for 3 in that wild card game. 3 RBIs. Giants win 8-0.
I'm not saying put Brandon Belt atop your rankings of Giants first baseman in the entire history of the organization. I'm saying respect him in the fact
I
that he
do
helped this
respect
team
him.
win 2 World Series championships. Like, if winning a World Series is not enough for you to like a player who represented this organization really, really well as a human being, like, what more do you need?
Sounds like a conversation for garlic fries and baseball guys. Am I right?
Damn.
Honest, yeah.
God, hey,
New episode
hey,
dropping today or yesterday.
Hey, love it kind of buys you there. He was not to your Jay-Z either. You trying to hit him with the takeover?
You know what? I'm gonna be very nice here because if you think that Brandon Belt is some excellent baseball player, you just don't know baseball.
What's the worst thing Brandon Belt ever did? Like, seriously,
Get hurt constantly.
Oh my God, that's so
good
awful.
salary.
Maybe he should have shown up to practice and punched one of his teammates. Maybe he should have done
Oh,
a bomb
hey,
threat at the
hey,
airport.
hey.
Maybe he should have, punched his girlfriend or something like Ray McDonald did. Like, come on. We've had so many Bay Area athletes be so much worse, and we dog on them, of course. But come on, we're going to put Brandon Belt in the dogging category too, when literally the worst thing he did was, he didn't freak out after a strikeout. Like, come on, really? This is the bar? That's ridiculous.
Look, the reality is this year, I know he didn't play yesterday. Lamont Wade has been excellent, and I haven't thought about Brandon Belt once. And then I look up, and he's second in All-Star voting. I was like, that's ridiculous. I'm sorry. That's ridiculous. Lamont Wade has thoroughly outplayed him, and no one has missed Brandon Belt. Lamont Wade has been excellent. His OBP is top of the league this year.
Yeah.
He has changed the top of the order
No
for the
doubt.
San Francisco Giants. Defensively, he's been better than Brandon Belt over the last couple of years because his range is better. Like, this isn't some, Brandon Belt's the worst player of all time. This is the problem that I have with Belt fans in general. He's good, but he's never been great. Okay? He's slightly above average on his best days. Great. Can we shoot a little higher for one of the glamour positions in sports? First base.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game. KGMG FM and AG1 San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app, including in Toronto, where Brandon Belt is working on his hamstring. Download the Odyssey app and favor 95.7 The Game for the best and most up-to-date
I love
sports
you,
coverage.
listen.
And do not forget that you can also
What a
watch us
win.
every single day on our YouTube and Twitch streams. Just log on and search 95.7 The Game. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel while you are there. I promise you, we'll move off of Brandon Belt. I was not expecting to have a belt war in 2023. A belt war that I'm not part of. Thank God I'm not catching.
I cannot wait for that Giants-Blue Jays series later this month.
Oh, that's happening. Oh, my God, if Brandon Belt goes crazy. Oh.
Brandon Belt
From a
walk-off
walking
home
boot?
run.
All right, I will, listen, man.
9 in a row for the Giants.
Let's,
Brandon Belt.
you know what? Let's give Ron and Hayward a stray. Let's give him a stray. I see a text from the 650 on the Comcast.
I'm a Dodger fan with balls.
Yeah. Well, it's time to retire their nickname, Pack Booty Park. Hashtag 9 in a row from the 650. Wow. Listen, Brandon Belt was not a better first baseman than JT Stowe, but I'm not going to hate on Brandon Belt today. He did help the Giants win 2 World Series. His body failed him at times. It is what it is.
He was
Let's move
solid.
on.
He was solid. That's the biggest problem. See how enraged he got? I said he's solid. What? He was better than solid. What? We won World Series. It's like, all right, dog. He was solid. Great. Congratulations. So was Tiny Felder. He was solid too. What, if they win in 1989, we're going to make a statue for Tiny Felder? Come on. That's all.
I mean, he'll still probably cape up for Tiny Felder. Could build a statue or anything, but it's like, yeah, Forever Giant, Tiny Felder.
We do know Brandon Belt.
He was good.
Listen,
he was never great.
One thing about the Giants.
That's all I'm saying.
They honor everybody. All right. Brandon Belt will be on the Wall of Fame for what? I guess.
Did you see the wall yesterday?
No.
They put the Hum
Baby. I did see
Keep
that.
that up forever.
Did you see Matt Williams?
Yeah, I did.
Well, do you know why they had to put Hum Baby on the wall?
No, what do you mean? What?
Because Rob Manfred apparently was like, well, you can't really put a patch on your jersey right now. You got to get it approved. What? I'll pull it up. Yeah.
What?
You missed this?
No, I did miss that because
man.
I'm tuning into the game. We had a Little League game in Millbrae, and so I'm tuning into the game. I got the phone. I'm jamming back home. I'm watching the first couple innings on the phone. Which, by the way, the MLB app, I gotta say, of all the apps, NBA app, NFL app, MLB app's the best app. I'm just telling you right now, the people could hate on MLB for a variety of things when it comes to the network stuff and the television stuff. The MLB app is undefeated, never lost. And so I get back and they're showing the whole
they lose sometimes.
The Hum Baby thing, and I'm like, keep that up forever. That needs to stay up there forever. And then in the post game, Casey Schmidt is wearing a bandana with the old Giants logo.
That's pretty sick.
Yes.
I got to pull this up. I got to find this. You guys want to talk about Brandon Belt anymore, or are we done with that? Are we done?
I'm cool. You guys move on.
All right. Thank you. Thank God. Brandon Belt, not even top 10 first baseman in Bay Area history.
I mean,
oh my God. Brandon Belt, Jimmy Garoppolo, Draymond Green, Kevin Durant. Those are four names that will never ever be.
Yeah, but Draymond's going to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I mean, like you know what I'm saying? Like if we're gonna,
Brandon Belt's not going to the Hall of Fame.
No.
Okay, here it is. For the remainder of the season, the Giants will honor legendary manager and forever Giant. Why do we have to put forever Giant? Roger Craig, who passed away earlier this month at the age of 93 with the sign on the right field center brick wall. This sign will feature a well-known catchphrase, Hum Baby, which he used to motivate his players and become synonymous with his 8 seasons as skipper of the Giants. Now, here is... oh, gosh. Dang, I just had it there. Wow, this segment's going really well. Basically, Rob Manfred, what did he say? Gosh, I can't find a tweet anymore. Where'd the tweet go?
Well, I think it looks really good in the all white. It pops on the brick, and I would leave it up forever. I think having that up there, because if you are a Giants fan, well, I'm 40. You're 40, B. I know you guys are a little younger. The guys who are in their 40s and 50s, when you say Hum Baby, it's synonymous with the Giants. It's synonymous with Roger Craig. Mm-hmm. It means something to an era of Giants fans. As we see a lot of Giants fans right now kind of falling back in love with their team, the 86, 87, 88, 89 Giants set the groundwork for what would become the fervor for the community to build a stadium in the 90s.
Rob Manfred basically said that this week, no uniform patches that aren't league-wide approved for specific MLB-sponsored events. That's why what Giants can't wear a patch. So there you go. I know you needed league-wide approval for MLB-sponsored events. They just want to honor their manager. Can't you just honor the manager, put RC on there? Roger Craig? That
33?
That just doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, I don't get it.
So Rob Manfred, of course, stepping all over himself there. 888-957-9570. Are the Giants able to sustain this energy with the lack of pitching that they have? They survived a Disclafati start yesterday. They come back and win against the Padres in walk-off fashion. But how about the bottom of the ninth inning? The kids. We all wanted to see the kids. This is what we wanted to see the Warriors with Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, and James Wiseman. And yet we see the kids. In the bottom of the ninth inning, Luis Matos draws a walk. Patrick Bailey hits a single. Mm-hmm. Casey Schmidt draws a walk. The kids contributing to a big-time win in the month of June. How about that?
And Matos coming through in the 7th inning as well after Yastrzemski's single. I know they ended up having like a double play down the line there. Right. It was a hell of a play by Machado. Matos' at-bats, they just look veteran, don't they?
They do.
The way he grinds it, he lays off the breaking ball. His plate discipline is unbelievable. Carlos Ramirez was doing in the postgame about chase rate, and he was going on going on and on about chase rate. And I think at times we can kind of overrate it. But when it comes to Matos, he has a feel for the strike zone. The guy does not leave the zone.
No doubt. So Casey Schmidt having better at-bats. Patrick Bailey with another solid game. The kids, again, contributing in the 9th inning. And that's what leaves me a little sour about the Warriors this past season. I wanted to see Kuminga get a crack at LeBron James. I wanted to see Kuminga get a crack in that Lakers series. I wanted to see him get more runway against the Sacramento Kings. I want to see Jordan Poole These kids need to be better. We need to figure out if they can perform with the bright lights, under the bright lights.
Well, you're seeing right now, they gave VR an opportunity, the Giants did earlier this year.
Yep.
And I just wanted to see VR play. I didn't think he was going to be some pillar of the organization or whatever. And, he came up, he was doing okay, and then he struggled. And they brought him down, and then injuries happened, and he came back up. And you see him last night in the 9th inning, and he just got blown away by Hader. I mean, just blown away. But you know what? At least we're getting an opportunity to find out whether he's good or not.
Yeah, no doubt.
Right?
No doubt.
I don't even know. I don't think he's that great. I think he's like a platooner or a role guy, like to me on a good team. But at least we're getting an opportunity to see what he is.
Yeah.
You're not just burying him.
Yeah.
In years past, who would have been taking that at bat?
Who's that?
Darren Ruff. Right? Someone who's like 34, 35 years old, he's our platoon. Wilmer Flores, I know he's
So
hurt.
Luis Matos is signing by Brian Sabian and Bobby Evans?
Yeah, when he was 16 out of Venezuela.
That's right.
Yeah, so he got signed in 2018, I believe, at 16, or 2017 at 16. Farhan came in December of 2018.
This segment is going as well as Brennan Belt's Giants career. Let's break, man. Let's take an early one. Let's reset, man. Giants win. Let's get some sound in here. Let's get the energy back up. 888-957-9570. Can the Giants sustain this success? What's the most impressive part of this 9-game winning streak to you? Is it the kids? Is it Brandon Crawford?
I've got something specific that I'm going to say to you on the other side. Very
Joc
specific.
Joc Pederson.
It goes to Gabe Kapler.
All right. What's the most impressive part or the most impressive aspect of this 9-game winning streak? 888-957-9570. We got Rich Aurelio coming up at 8:30. Tony Gwynn Jr., 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock, Tony Gwynn Jr. We will get into some Warriors at some point. And you know what? It's okay to break early, Lubman. You don't have to do the 2-minute warning, right? You want to break on time? We could go another minute.
You know what?
Brandon Belt!
Why doesn't Bonte just slump his shoulders and slowly walk back to the dugout?
Oh, wow.
Like a certain someone who was a giant giraffe, number 9, who always left me wanting more.
Imagine wanting more than the 2 World Series that he gave you.
Dog, Will Clark lost a World Series. And I'll take Will Clark 10 out of 10 days over Brandon Belt ever. Even his best day.
What about JT Snow?
I'm taking JT Snow. I love JT Snow. And don't even bring up Willie Mack.
Listen, hey, I don't even care. JT Snow's a better first baseman than Brandon Belt. It's not even close. I'm sorry. It's not even close.
So you're saying because they lost in 2002, JT Snow's garbage?
Yeah, right.
Because they didn't win a World Series. Barry Bonds didn't win a World Series.
But don't tell me Brandon Belt won a World Series.
I'm not saying that Brandon Belt's the greatest Giants first baseman ever because he won a World Series. I'm saying that as a Giants fan, you are allowed to enjoy the fact that Brandon Belt was a Giant who helped this team win 2 World Series championships. That's all I'm saying.
That's fair.
Give Brandon Belt the respect he deserves as a 2-time World Series championship with the San Francisco Giants.
He was the 17th most important player on both teams. You're right. Thank you, Brandon.
Now we can break, and that's what's coming up, sponsored by Cars.com.
Oh, that's the sound of a car being added to Cars.com. And since up to 50,000 cars are added...
So I was eating my soda protein bar. SOTA, weightloss.com. It is state of the art. It is helping Guru and I out lose a couple pounds. That's right. Shout out to Soda. Got my new shipment last night. 95.70 game, thousands of other stations. Please, no Brandon Belt. And millions of podcasts are free on the Odyssey app. Sports talk, music, news, and podcasts are all available completely free.
Young Nash sent me a soup that he's eating now from Soda.
Oh, he's on Soda too?
Yeah, Young Nash, yeah.
Why is he on Soda?
Because he thinks he needs to lose a little bit of weight.
Dude, he's 5'2" and weighs 100 pounds.
No, well, I love Nash, so I don't want to put his business out in the street. He was feeling a little insecure about where his body was trending. And
so he got on the Soda diet?
Yeah, he did. He was super jealous. He looked at you on Instagram, and he was like, dude, so B's really lost a lot of weight. I was like, no, like, he looks like a different person. And I'm like super jealous.
I look the same. I mean, come on.
No, I'm being real. By the way, if you do want to get it down with the program, a lot of people ask me, because last night I'm out in Millbrae Baseball, a cute little field down there. I forget what the name of the park is, something Oaks Park out in Millbrae on the border of San Bruno. Somebody's asking me, hey man, I run a small business. You know, I want to do some stuff with you guys on the morning roast. Like, how can I get a hold of you? Here's how you get a hold of me. Joe at 957thegame.com. Email me directly, Joe, Joe, at 957thegame.com, and let's link up. Let's get your name slathered all over our YouTube page. Let's create a segment for you. Let's do some business with you. Support the people who support us. How do you think Soda got in? Every inch of my body and anything that comes out is for sale.
I was reading something.
That's
here.
okay.
You know what I was reading? Sorry, you started marketing for yourself and soliciting, and I check out on that one because I looked at Victor Wembanyama.
Oh, the
says
first
he will
pitch.
play in summer league. The Spurs play Sacramento in their first summer league game, July 3rd. So I think your boy may have to go up to Sacramento to go see Victor Wembanyama. Sorry, if you want to email us, go ahead and email us. Get the Joe.
Joe at 957thegame.com. Victor.
Don't bother me.
Victor, I will help you get a Puma deal. Let's do this.
Wow.
Joe at 957thegame.com. All right, Bonte, you asked me before we went to the break, and we're going to talk Giants, 9-game winning streak. Last night, the Joc off in terms of a walk-off. I don't think I'm going to do that one more time. I don't think I'm going to do
Careful.
that. I didn't even mean to do that. But you asked me, what's the most impressive thing? I'm going to tell you exactly what it is.
Go ahead.
I think one of the hardest things when you're managing people, I don't care what industry you're in, is when you ask someone to go outside of their comfort zone, all right? And maybe that person is more established at what they do than what you do, right? So, for example, you're the new foreman on the job, all right? And a guy is accustomed to doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, and he doesn't want to have any apprentice, and he wants to do his thing. You walk over to him and you ask him to change up his role. Hey, I need you to take on this kid over here. I need you to mentor him and have him do some of that job. Teach him how to do that. Man, I'm out of my comfort zone. I like to just do what I'm doing. Let me just do me. No. I need you to do that. Let's say you're, a particular manager when it comes to salespeople, and you got to tap in to one of your salesmen who has one route and one territory. Hey, I need you to take on this other territory. I know you don't know it as well. I know the clientele is very different, but I need you to go do that for me. It's hard to get people to buy in. Brandon Crawford has been one of the greatest shortstops in Giants history. It's a very easy sentence. He is an established player. I think he's one of the more clutch Giants over the last 20 years. All right? Multiple nights, late game situations. Gabe Kapler, after having a clutch at bat, Gabe Kapler went over to Brandon Crawford and said, we are taking you out of this game. Brandon Crawford didn't show up the manager. Brandon Crawford didn't show any disgust or frustration or anger. He just went with the flow. He gets a big, clutch, 7th inning at-bat, base hit up the middle. Coming up in the 9th, I'm going to go with Casey Schmidt, the guy who's going to take your spot. This is now like the 3rd or 4th time in the last couple of weeks where the two of them is getting yo-yoed for each other. Right? Schmidt got yo-yoed for Crawford. Crawford delivers against St. Louis. Now it's the reverse. And 2 nights in a row, your veteran, one of your older guys, takes a backseat so the kid can come up in an at-bat in the 9th inning at home against an elite closer after you produced. The fact that Gabe Kapler has Brandon Crawford buying in given all of the circumstances that are going on, you're seeing the sand come out of the hourglass on your career. This kid's coming for your job. He's going to come bat for me in the 9th inning. To me, Gabe Kapler tapping into the entirety of the roster and everyone buying in, that's the most impressive part of this win streak.
Are you surprised Brandon Crawford is bought in right now? Because in 2021, he got pinch hit for it, and he was yanked from a game at Dodger Stadium early in the season. And a lot of people thought Kapler may have lost Crawford then. And they go on to win 107 games. He has a big role in that. So I think Crawford's been all the way in. I think he's been all the way in with this regime. Didn't he sign the extension during 2021?
After the 2021 season.
Right. So
like the September-ish.
September-ish of that season.
Yeah.
So I think that tells you right there that he bought into whatever Kapler or Farhan
But he
was doing.
didn't have a guy pressuring him for playing time.
No doubt.
And I think that does change the dynamic a little. But I hear you.
No, it does. So, look, that's the most impressive part for you. I think for me the most impressive part is the late game magic for the Giants. The fact that they're getting no hit through some of these games through 5. They're lackluster offensively through 5. They're not hitting the ball. They're not scoring it up. They're just not having good ABs. Yet they figure out different ways to win, and it's different guys. Whether it's Joc Pederson, whether it's Mike Yastrzemski, whether it's Late Night Lamont, whether it's a Casey Schmidt or a Patrick Bailey, they're figuring out ways to win, and it's been different guys. I think that's been the most impressive part. And the fact that they have Alex Cobb on the IL. Alex Wood just came back, and we already know he gives you 5 innings max.
I mean, max, that's 4 1/3 is a good start for Alex Wood.
It might as well be a complete game for Alex Wood.
Which is why I got so frustrated when he got yanked
after
with 1 out to go.
Pitches.
Yes.
Well, he got yanked last game, 67 pitches after 5 innings. So you can't give him one more, but I get it's his first shot back. I don't know why people are talking about Brandon Belt being in the Hall of Fame. Let's move off of Brandon Belt, please. Brandon Belt's fine. He doesn't deserve a slander. He's playing in a different damn country. Okay, enough of Brandon Belt. That's been the most impressive part for me is the different guys who are stepping up late in games, and it's not just hitters. It's also bullpen arms. You get a Tristan Beck. You get a Christian Gwynn. You get Camilo Duvall closing it down. The Rogers brothers who are dominating right now. Now all of a sudden, if you get this game to the 6th or 7th inning, the Giants can roll out Rogers, Duvall.
And they're all 3 very different.
All
Lefty,
very different.
over the top.
Yep.
You got a righty submariner, and then you got a flamethrower.
I mean, I would stack those 3 up right now, and I can't believe I'm saying this about the Rogers brothers, but I'll stack up the Rogers brothers and Duvall in the back end of the bullpen against anybody right now in the National League. Against anybody.
Let me ask you, the part of the hallmark of what made the Giants so great was that core 3 guys coming out of the bullpen.
Or the core 4. Javi Lopez, Jeremy Outfeld, Sergio Romo, Santiago Casilla.
Santiago never really got the appropriate due.
But he was solid.
He was really good. He was a closer, too.
Keaton, what did I say? Christian Wynn? Keaton Wynn. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
My bad.
But
I keep saying Christian.
That's the hallmark,
Who the hell
right?
is Christian Wynn?
Like Brian Wilson as your closer, and those guys coming out of the bullpen. They only did that really for like a year and a half because Wilson's arm basically blew off in 2011 because of what they did in 2010. Doesn't it feel like this one, it's not as good as that one because you got to have the playoff resume.
Close.
But it's rounded into form where I feel like it's reliable.
I don't like
that.
doing that, though. Those guys won World Series. They pitched in big games. Let's see it through with this team, with this core group.
No, I said it's rounding out, and it's feeling formidable like that.
It's good, but he also had great bullpens with the old OG Mike Jackson.
Of course.
You know,
Dave Burba, Mike Jackson was a great setup to Rod Beck.
Yeah, no doubt. You had some great arms. You had Jason Christensen for a while. You had some dudes setting up for Rob Nid. So let's be careful with that one. By the way, Keaton Wynn. Why do I keep saying Christian? Nicholas here saying, Bonte, have you figured out yet what player's worth buying a jersey as we approach July?
I think Matos.
But
I might wait till the belt trade so that he can acquire a better number.
Wow.
What?
The belt trade? You mean the
Bart trade.
Wow, you were so rattled off the Brandon Belt. Joey Bart, that is. Yeah, Matos at 29. He may change his number. I don't know yet, Nicholas. I don't know if I'm buying a jersey yet. I usually don't buy jerseys of players who are younger than me. Unless they're my kids, I feel a little weird. I like to buy throwback jerseys.
I didn't even thought of that.
Yeah, I never. It's kind of a Ray Ratto rule. Shout out to Ray Ratto.
Ray Ratto doesn't even like sports.
Yeah, no, he loves sports. Don't be fooled. He loves sports. Sports has got him set up pretty.
Yeah. Well,
Ray Rattle loves sports. Don't you be fooled. Don't you be fooled by his shtick. Ray Rattle can't get enough of sports. That's why he's watching hockey, horse racing, golf, football, basketball, baseball. He loves it. Get a Cote Doval jersey. You know what? That might not be a bad idea. Again, he's a lot younger than me, but there's a jersey I would buy. It'd probably be Camilo Duval. All right, that's a fun one. If you had to pick a jersey to buy on this team after they win 4-3 against the Padres and won 9 in a row, what jersey would you buy? Would you buy the Casey Schmidt jersey?
Ooh, that's a good question. I feel like Patrick Bailey's a fun one because there's something about being a catcher, right? There's just something about, the guy behind the dish. I don't know. I really like him, but I feel like the Matos one is the one that's going to, if they can get it out there, and if that's the number he's going to stick with, that is the one that I think a lot of people are going to want because he's an everyday player.
Right.
But that 75 Doval, I think that one's pretty sweet too.
That 75 is nice.
I think it's pretty sweet. But I do like the single-digit number on Casey Schmidt. It looks cool. But if I'm betting on futures, I think in order, I go Matos, Doval, Bailey, Schmidt. In terms of career in the Giants right now, it's so early.
Already a better 75 than Bear Zito?
Yeah. Zito had like 4 great starts.
He's got a World Series, so.
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that.
What? What did I do? So this is what, year 6 of Farhan Zaidi, right?
Yes.
And year 5 of Gabe Kapler?
Yes.
How'd you assess them through 6 years?
2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. Fourth
year for Kapler.
Yeah. Because he came in the COVID year, 60-game schedule.
So
Bochy's last year was 2019.
Yeah, so that was Farhan's first year, right?
Farhan came December of 2018.
So 2019, 2020,
he's had 6 off seasons, essentially.
Yeah, 6 off seasons, 5 seasons.
Yes.
How would you assess his performance so far, Farhan Zaidi? Because let's not be fooled, he is calling all the shots.
I'm looking at it right now, and I think that it's starting to show some of the fruit on the tree. Like I got this little plant in the backyard, an avocado tree, and I've got a little lemon tree, and I'm starting to see these little tiny things starting to sprout out. But it's got a long way to go. And if there's a big gust of wind, my tree might go flying out of the pot. So I feel the same way about where Farhan's at right now. He inherited a financial disaster. He didn't really, to me, he made some shrewd trades to move off of money and get you a guy like, Beck, who's helping you now. But Beck's a minor speck of sand on the beach, right? He's not a pillar of the organization. He's not a foundational piece. All of the foundational pieces, they haven't traded. Right. So that's good. Now, we haven't seen any of them outside of the 3 guys we've seen this year. And then he's developed a couple of guys that he were carryovers. Matos, carryover. Doval, carryover. Logan Webb, carryover. And he gets a lot of credit for that.
Right.
I think his free agency right now is probably his biggest hole because the feather in the cap moves like the Gosmans and the Rodons that were knocking out of the park, signings.
Right.
You got them and you squeeze the lemon and then they left for nothing. So I think it's been a mixed bag, but I feel the most optimistic I felt over the last 6 years. I know I'm all over the place here.
Yeah, so, he dodges his bullet with Carlos Correa. And I never, I'm on record saying I didn't like the signing. What I hated about it was the process in which they handled it. I thought it was classless the way the Giants handled that situation. But initially, when they gave Carlos Correa the signing, I was like, oh my gosh. And we cited the numbers. We had an argument, all of us. I was just like, this guy's never hit more than 24 home runs in a season. Like, I wasn't feeling it. It was like, let's panic. We didn't get Judge, so let's go get Carlos Correa. The Judge one hurts. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, Judge is hurt right now, and they dodged a bullet. Well, I still take Aaron Judge on this roster.
Everyone would.
They'd be that much better if they had Aaron Judge. Everybody would. So I like where Farhan's going here. But I think, 5 years in, we don't give them as much heat as we give John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, because they've been knocking on the door, and it feels like, you can't win the big one is somehow a bigger indictment than you can't be consistently good.
Right. The Giants haven't been consistently good. Yeah, exactly. To your point. They haven't been consistently good, but yet we rip Lynch and Shanahan, and I'm guilty of it as well, because they can't win the big one. But you think about where they've been. You think about the ownership groups. The Giants botched the Correa situation. I don't think they did a great job of recruiting Aaron Judge. And they're still spending a bunch of money. And you look at the money that they're spending. Mitch Haniger, IL, Sean Manaea, Ross Stripling. I mean, Conforto's holding on for dear life here. It feels like he may be, you never know what's going on with him. It just have not done well in free agency. That's why I'm waiting on Farhan to say, can you lend a big fish?
Well, can I ask you this in a roundabout way? And I know Steiny kind of was trying to talk about this yesterday, and I think it's a really good point. And you and I brought this up earlier in the day. In a roundabout way, as devastated as I was because they didn't sign someone, because when at that time we didn't see any of these prospects, and there was nothing but negativity coming out of the farm, so you felt like the land was barren. I think there's more to wrap your arms around with this team now, having not signed those guys, than the constant, oh, your one big free agent guy is producing or isn't producing. Like that, I felt like everything would have been an indictment of just that one player. Meaning, let's say you brought in Correa or Judge, and they're doing really well. Oh, look what he's doing every single day. It's that guy, it's that guy, it's that guy. If he's not doing well, oh man, your guy's not doing good. That's draining. It feels way more fun to talk about the team as opposed to the one individual player that I feel like we would have been hyper focused on.
See, I don't think it would have happened like that. I don't think we do that. I mean, I hear what you're saying. We would have been hyper-focused on Aaron Judge, but we would have also had a spotlight on everybody around him. Who's protecting him? Who's pitching?
Okay.
How are they hitting around him? Why aren't they producing around him? Who's batting leadoff? Who's batting in front of Judge? Who they're going to bring up to support Judge? How are they going to add to help Judge out? It would have been, now, what I will say is, the expectations would have been raised. It would have been raised tremendously.
So they're doing the same thing they're doing right now, but they had one of those free agents. Do you think it would be as fun or
Absolutely.
as organic?
I think we would have been into them a lot sooner than we are.
See, that I agree with.
A lot of people were just coming aboard during this winning streak in June saying, oh boy, wait a minute. Look, I was open-minded. I'll say I just want to see it. I'm not going to say whether or not they're going to be 81-81. I didn't even give a win prediction total. I didn't know where they were going to be. I could see 90 wins. I could see 70 wins. But once they won that game last Wednesday in St. Louis, I said, okay, that's a big boy win.
Yeah.
The backup Anthony DeSclafani, okay, now let's see where this goes. Now I'm pulling my seat up even more. Instead, I'm laying on the couch saying, okay, baseball's on. Let me see what the Giants are doing, blah, blah, blah. That's all about them. Oh, okay. Now they may be about something. So I don't know. I think the expectations just would have been raised. That's where I'm at.
No, it's interesting because I feel like in the weirdest way, because of the way everything went down in the offseason, this feels even more unlikely what they've done, the 9-game winning streak. It feels more organic from the community wrapping their arms around them. And then seeing the youngsters produce, it feels like it came out of nowhere. I didn't see any of these youngsters all coming up.
Yeah.
Like, if we got one of the Schmidt, Bailey, Matos, I think a lot of people would be super excited. We're getting 3, and they're helping them win, and they're all looking like contributors.
Yeah.
I just didn't have that on my flow chart.
See, I would have wrapped around. I think we would have wrapped around because, at some point, some of these guys would have came up.
You think so?
You know what I'm saying? Aaron Judge is not blocking Casey Schmidt.
That's true.
He's not blocking Patrick Bailey.
Even Matos plays center, and
right.
That's a good point.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a good point.
5-0.
I just didn't think they were that far along.
You would be hyper focused on that one player as much as you were hyper focused on Brendan Belt is Gumby's shoulders.
It always comes back to Belt.
5-0. The theme of the show: belt bashing. But it is crazy in contrast in how we look at the Warriors, the Niners, and the Giants. And the Giants are winning games right now. We're all having fun. But if the Warriors went on an 8-game winning streak, we're like, hell, they need to do that. They got the highest payroll in the league. They should be doing that.
And they have a superstar in Steph Curry where the sand is coming out of the hourglass.
Right.
We did that with the Giants in the Bonds era. Like, I do believe during the Bonds era, there was this tension of you have to build a winning team around him at all costs.
Do you think that tension is gone because of the 3 World Series?
And the life cycle of where the team's at. Like, if Posey was on this team right now, wouldn't we be saying, it's the last year for Posey. You got to go all in for him. You have a generational catcher. Like, I kind of said that when we were acquiring Chris Bryant down the stretch, didn't we?
Yeah.
How many more runs are you going to have with a guy like this? I think because you don't have, and maybe Crawford's just not viewed the way as Posey is, but you still have Crawford, but it doesn't feel, that sense of urgency doesn't feel there. It feels like house money.
Right.
Doesn't it?
It does. Now, I get the sense of urgency with the 49ers. I get the sense of urgency with the Warriors. but it just feels like I don't know, man. We give out so much. I don't want to go down that road.
What do you mean? No,
I don't want to go down that road today. I was gonna tie in something here, but I'm not gonna go down that road today. Today's not the day. Giants have won 9 in a row. They're 9 games over 500. They're playing some good baseball. We're gonna see if they can sustain this. I have questions about them sustaining this. I do, because of the pitching staff and the way they're doing it. We'll see. We'll see what happens here. I'm eager to see how this June ends up.
Is this one of the better defensive Giants teams in a long time? Because you've got 2 guys who could play short.
I mean,
you got a third baseman in J.D. Davis, and when Schmidt plays there, they're really good.
I'd say it's the best defensive team under Farhan Zaidi.
Yeah, I do.
Let's start there.
Okay.
Let's start there.
That's
under
fair.
Farhan Zaidi,
that's fair.
It is their better defensive team.
It feels like to me since they lost Duffy, because Duffy was a good third baseman. I liked him at third base. Even though Longoria was a solid third baseman, he just always felt a step slow and on the IL at every other turn. He was a very good defensive, but their outfield defense is so much better. Conforto in left, Matos and Yastrzemski. That's like the best defensive outfield they've had in a decade.
They have some really good this is a really good defensive team. They're getting better and better and better. Crawford's starting to get healthy. You can see him moving around a lot better. We'll see if Casey Smith gets back out there. They are looking better defensively. Definitely under Farhan Zaidi.
That I agree with.
Under Farhan Zaidi, for sure.
It's their best bullpen under Farhan, too. And they've had some good bullpens.
Yeah, it's a good bullpen.
Like
they've
had some good. Like that's the one thing I think he's done a really good job of is finding bullpen arms, and it feels like this is a good bullpen. I love Tyler Rogers, not in the 9th inning, not guaranteed in the 8th inning every time.
Right.
Like kind of using him in situational matchups.
707. Comcast Business text line. Bonte flip-flopping. You've been texting me all day, even though I waved at your daughter at the Warriors game. This was crazy, and I'm going to give you attention. You said you want it. You want to keep texting. I'm going to give you your little attention. I'm going to give you 2 minutes in the sun. So earlier in the show, 707 Comcast Business text line text me, and he's going all over the place. Oh, Bonte, man, you trashing the Giants. You back on the bandwagon, blah, 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 blah. So I asked him, I said, where was this energy in May before the winning streak? All love here, man. Huge respect for you. You show love. Just teasing. You waved at my daughter at a Warriors game. She still today talks about it. Every time she sees you, he waved at me. Peace. Have a good day. Shout out to the Union Carpenters who built this city, 707 Twan. Shout out to Twan. But then you come back and text and you talk about I'm flip-flopping again. Slated on this very show that he would not go to a Giants game or waste time on them after the Correa botched deal. And I did not waste a lot of time on the Giants. But they deserve it right now. They deserve it. And what do you want me to do? Baby Chaz says, pop a Giants game. What am I going to say no to my daughter? I'm going to say no to that, and that's going to work out well. You want me to go drive to the A's game, to that dump?
Wait, hold on. Is Baby Chaz really asking to put the Giants game on?
Oh, she loves baseball. She loves sports.
She came to
you
practice.
Raising her right. Proud of you.
She came to practice and was very tentative at first, and then once she settled in and relaxed, oh my God, she was swinging the bat, throwing the ball,
taking grounders.
Great. Yeah,
she loves
great.
baseball.
It was really great.
She actually slept in bed with us last night.
Now, I am really I'm cautious about this Lamont Wade right side tightness. I'm afraid it might be some sort of an oblique thing, which I told you the average Major League Baseball missing time for an oblique is about a month and plus. They need Lamont Wade Jr. back in there. He's a legitimate catalyst for this lineup. The way that he approaches his at-bats, he grinds pitchers. He gets on base at such a high clip. I mean, he's basically, 4 to 5 out of 10. He's on base. They need him dramatically back in this lineup quickly. So I'm hoping that that's not a serious injury.
888-957-9570. Is this sustainable? Before we get to Tony Gwynn Jr., I do want to play some Bochy sounds. Speaking of Bochy and the Texas Rangers, this happened last night. I want to get your thoughts on this.
Did you see the play?
Jonah Heim. Oh, I saw the play live. It was MLB show 4 games. Because the MLB app, you're right. Mm-hmm. And you put it on the desktop,
it's
computer,
awesome.
or the laptop. You play 4 games at once.
Exactly.
Now, for a lot of gamblers, that's what you do. Maybe I was itching to bet on something last night. I didn't, but I was itching.
Oh.
But before we got into
aloe vera is what I recommend.
Yeah, but we got to Belt Wars or Brennan Belt talking. You look around the league, Atlanta 4-2 over the Phillies. Orioles outlasting the Rays yesterday 8-6. My Orioles look good. They did win 2 out of 3 here in San Francisco. I had to go check out my Orioles on a Sunday afternoon. All right, they look good. Yankees beating the Mariners.
So can I mean, you have the Braves in one division.
I'm not a Braves fan. I'm not. I'm impressed with the way they do business, though.
Okay.
I'm impressed with their lineup.
You are an Orioles fan.
I kind of like the yellows. I've always liked their logo.
Okay, no. So I'm
Always liked their logo. I'm a Giants fan.
Yeah, no, I know.
I'm not sitting here. Oh, Orioles! Oh, I like to just call them my Orioles because you always bash them. That's why.
What?
Dude, you bashed the Orioles for years. I was telling you about this team for a couple years now in this organization. They're coming, and you're like, oh, Baltimore. Now look at them.
Okay.
Now look at them. But Jonah Heim yesterday, catcher, really good catcher for the Texas Rangers. Big time game in Chicago against the White Sox, and it was a routine play. But check this out right here, NBCS Chicago.
Oh, it's a violation by Jonah Heim for being in the line of the slide by Elvis Andrus. So he was out at the plate, but the catcher being in the way creates a run.
And here comes Bruce Bochy. Now, he's hot, and he gets out there as quickly as he can. And he just got rung. He got thrown out of the game. Well, I have no idea why that was a violation.
It was such a bad call, the Buster Posey rule. It was such a terrible call. And did you see the way Bruce Bochy ran out of the dugout as fast as he could? It was so funny. And then here's what Bochy said. Spinoza, get here. Go ahead.
Well, they ran in quotations, more limped over.
Limped over. And he was hot. He got ran. And then Bruce Bochy, here's what he said after the game.
You know, those guys, I mean, they're not making a call. I get that. I just want to get clarification on exactly what was called. I couldn't hear, and for that call to be made, I'm dumbfounded. It's absolutely one of the worst calls I've ever seen, and it was done by replay. I just don't get it. I don't care how many times they'll try to explain it. You can't do that in that situation. It's a shame. It's embarrassing, really.
Embarrassing.
So it's interesting because for those that maybe haven't seen the clip, the catcher, the throw from the field drew the catcher up the line a little on the foul side. I would call it outside. There's outside, inside if you're going, catcher, lingo here. And basically, he gives a lane to the runner. In my estimation, he gives a lane and then does a swipe tag or whatever. He's not standing in front of the plate like Mike Scioscia would back in the day, waiting for someone to barrel through him.
No doubt.
And it's interesting because I remember this, the Scott Cousins, Buster Posey's, why this got put into play. And I'll go to my deathbed saying the same thing. Anyone who thinks that catcher's gear is collision gear is out of their mind. They've never played catcher. They've never worn the gear. It is ball deflective gear. It is not collision gear. It's not football gear. The back of these helmets, especially when they wear those hockey helmets, there's not a lot of padding on there if you go in the back. It's all in the front, and it's to deflect the ball. It's not for, taking on a head-on-head collision. I understand why the rule was implemented in the first place, and I agree with it. Having that tag, you have to give the guy, and that's why I like catchers normally on the front of the plate, on the inside, if you will, of the infield, and giving them that lane. But when the throw takes you into the lane and you give him the other side, you either give him inside or outside. He gave him the lane. To me, to review that and overcall it was bad.
Yeah, that's an awful call.
It is.
And when you look at the standings in the AL West, it's seeing where Texas is right now.
It's a bad call.
Texas is 5 up on the Angels. Wow, the Angels 41-34.
That's what everyone keeps saying. Ohtani's going to trade. I'm like, dude, they're in the mix.
They are in the mix.
And Rendon hurt again.
Right. Rendon, he's been hurt.
Again.
Yeah, he has been hurt. I like Rendon, too. Unfortunately, he shouldn't have took the money. Went the Angels, kind of like Albert Pujols, and he played out.
It's a shame. It's embarrassing.
It is a shame, and it is embarrassing. But that could cost Texas down the stretch here. That was a bad back call. But I wish, man, if we could have the YouTube, we're going to work on this.
To watch the play
live as we talk. But I want to show our YouTube audience the play. I actually wanted to show Bruce Bochy running.
Did you watch the play with Bailey last night? There was a play at home. I forget. I think it was Estrada who was playing second base. It might have been the first baseman. And the infield's in, the runner on third, and they throw home, okay? And Bailey, instead of setting himself up for a swipe tag, for some reason, gets into a force, like he's a first baseman when it's not a forced situation, and then he tries to throw back. Then he had no chance at throwing the guy out from home to first. And Bailey's done a lot of great things behind the plate, but that was an instance where I'm like, whoa, Bailey, that's a swipe play.
Yeah, no, it was a bad play.
And that's a young play. There was also a play later on in the game on the Machado chopper. Bailey hits a chopper. And Machado tags third, throws home.
That was a hell of a play.
It was a hell of a play. And the catcher swipe tags, because it's not a force anymore. Swipe tags. I thought the runner for the Giants got underneath the tag.
Yeah.
And Matty Hegan was reposting the video, and I agree with them. It looked like he never even tagged him.
It was a good play by Machado. Great play by Machado there. To get the double play there in the 8th inning. That was a hell of a play. By the way, Bruce Brown opting out of his deal with the Denver Nuggets, who was set to make $6.8 million, had a hell of a playoff run. Maybe he gets more money. Maybe he goes back to Denver. You heard Mike Malone last week. We run this back. We running this stuff back. He ain't going nowhere. Hell no. Well, we'll see about that, because money talks. We got to wait for Chris Middleton. He may opt out of his deal. We know that Draymond Green opted out of his deal.
What is that?
We will talk some NBA in about an hour. Oh, man.
What does that do for him? Interesting. I don't know. I just I keep looking back at these Gigantes, and I'm saying, man, this feels like one of the best Junes I can remember in a long, long, long time.
Yeah, they used to go through the June swoon.
Yeah.
13-4, though. Flynn even talked about it, and the schedule looked daunting. Now they're just mowing through teams. They're mowing through teams. They win tonight, and you win the series. Now it feels like a split in the series would be a letdown.
I agree.
They basically stole the first 2 games.
I know.
Padres were the better team through 7 innings in both games.
It feels like in June, once they got Yaz back and then they called up Matos, doesn't it feel like now they have their full arsenal of depth and they're able to play the matchups late in games? Well, because J.D. Davis is back and Estrada's back, I can go to Schmidt if I need to in a pinch hit situation against an elite lefty. I can go to Austin Slater late in the game. I don't have to play Austin Slater 3 out of 5 days. I can use him in that left-handed, lefty pitcher role where he's going to just go up against those guys in MASH. I like that everybody's healthy, and that's why I'm a little worried about this Lamont Wade thing. They're cooking with hot grease right now. The last thing I need is for Lamont Wade to go on the DL or the IL, and then I got to shore up first base, because I don't think VR. I think VR is a big drop off from Wade right now.
He is. But he's scrapping right now. Feels like, though, if they split this series, it'll be a letdown going into Arizona. By the way, Shams Charania. I want to pass this along. 7 possible destinations for Draymond Green. 7 possible destinations.
7 brides for 7
options.
brothers.
Yeah, there you go. Draymond Green, the Lakers. Lakers one team. Sacramento's another team, although they have no cap space, so I don't know how that's going to work. The Dallas Mavericks are a team that could be enticing there for a sign and trade.
Luka and Draymond.
Yeah, the Houston Rockets. I don't see that happening.
So he didn't want to babysit on this team, but he's going to do that over there?
Well, James Harden may be back in Houston. There you go.
Harden and Draymond?
The Utah Jazz have cap space. Can you imagine Draymond Green in Salt Lake City?
Can I be honest? No.
Portland Trailblazers.
He's been linked to Dame for a long time, but is Dame going to stay there?
If Draymond Green goes. So, Sham says about the Golden State Warriors, maybe Green doesn't get the max from the Warriors, but the security of a 3 or 4 year deal around $25 million per season makes sense for both parties. I just don't see Green ultimately leaving without a contending team as a viable option. That is from Shams Charania, and he expects a lot of trades on draft day tomorrow, a lot of movement in the association, or as Dan Dilby says it, the association. Or Tim Roy. The association.
Interesting.
I like when Dibs does it, though.
Interesting.
In the association. There should be a lot of movement in the association.
We don't do that. We do that in the National Football League, the association. What's Major League Baseball? We don't call it Major League Baseball.
The majors.
The majors, yeah.
We call it the majors.
Right.
Or we call it the bigs.
Or the show.
The show. The big leagues. The show. Or the association.
Do you need to see Harrison in the show soon?
I don't. I'm riding the wave. I'm watching this game. I'm watching this team every single day saying, where is this going? I don't know where it's going. I don't know if they're legit contenders. I don't know if they're a good team yet. I don't know if they're just on a hot streak right now. Like, they don't even have the biggest winning streak in baseball. The Cincinnati Reds do.
I mean,
Reds have won 10 in a row.
Give me a Giants-Reds playoff series.
Bless you. Bless you.
God bless me. Followed by a Texas Rangers-Giants.
I mean, they've won 10 in a row. Ellie De La Cruz.
Yeah,
solo home run yesterday. Dude's a stud.
Yeah, he is.
All right.
Apparently, him and O'Neal Cruz are from right near each other.
Yeah, same neighborhood.
Yeah, it's incredible. And they're both 6'5" elite athlete shortstops.
4 years.
Well, even better, apparently they played on the same Little League team together as
Is that
kids.
true?
I heard that. Let me double check on that. Could you imagine how stacked that Little League team would be with those two?
No, that's like did you know Matt Stafford played catcher for Clayton Kershaw?
Yeah.
Right? How many times have we heard that?
A lot. 650. If I remember correctly, Bonte, you said you probably won't go to a game because the management of the team let you down with the lineup. But I feel like it was always you have to show me your worth at first sort of mentality. And I get that with Schmidt in this win streak. They have done that for you now. Makes sense. P.S. For me, though, I'm still going to need to see a big signing like Ohtani to draw me in. That's my line.
Yeah, see, I don't agree with that. I think this fan base, this market.
But look.
Do we love a big star? Yes. We like a homegrown star. That's what we like.
650 back at me, though. He said, you never said you would stop watching. It's kind of my job to watch. Can't come in here blind. Now, some people can fake it. Some people know how to not watch a Giants game and talk about them. I don't know how to do that.
What about going to Rickwood Field in Birmingham, Alabama, which is where Willie Mays once played?
I think I'm going to that.
You want to go?
I think I'm going to that.
Giants-Cardinals set to play there in 2024.
Yeah, I think I'm going to that. By the way, happy birthday to our boy, Robbie Dizzle. Special happy birthday.
Is it his birthday?
Shout out. It's his birthday.
Happy birthday, Robbie Dizzle. One of the day one roasters.
He's a day one roaster.
Love you, buddy.
He's out of control, man.
Hope your birthday is booming.
He's at every sporting event.
He's everywhere. San Jose Giants, March Madness, Sharks games. He doesn't miss a beat.
No.
He's all about that life. He's never injured. Never, ever injured. You got to be healthy to go to all these games, Shasky. Know that? Can't be injured. Can't have a hamstring. Can't have right side soreness. Robbie Dizzle's healthy.
I do have right side soreness tonight, and I'm worried because I have Little League BP, and then I've got an O Club playoff game afterwards. So a championship game, really, against 12 Angry Men.
You know,
tonight.
your boy Norm in the Span class had busted his calf up playing the game.
I know.
Alan Styles tore up his Achilles.
I feel bad for
Shout out to Alan Styles.
I feel really bad for Alan.
I do feel bad for him, but I'm telling you guys, man, taper it down, dude.
But here's what I'd say to Alan.
I got a competitive itch.
Stop.
I'm not getting out there playing hard and busting my ass for what? For who? For no money?
Well, to feel good about yourself.
I feel great about myself.
I get great enjoyment out of playing ball. So I admit that. Like, I do. And it makes me feel better and happier.
Well, have enjoyment when you get to the surgery room. And Michelle's saying, I told you not to play.
I mean, when you're a competitor and a true
I'm a competitor, too.
You know, athlete, you just want to keep playing.
We just don't want you guys showing up on the injury report.
No, that I don't either.
Man, that soda diet has me feeling good. Ain't finna go play no pickup with a bunch of dudes trying to beat Kobe Bryant.
Well,
what
they tell you to lose weight before you start really getting like extremely active.
Hey, Travis, let me tell you something. Travis Irby, I am very competitive. Go ask people when I lost in the Connect 4 tournament here at Odyssey. You think I like losing arguments, debates, Monopoly?
You just said the Connect 4 tournament.
I get pissed off losing anything.
Your ego is hurt?
I don't even let Anna win in Jenga. I can't help myself.
Jenga's hard. Jenga's really hard.
The hell you talk about? I'm not competitive. Better check yourself. Scott Alexander. He's going to go on the IL with the left hamstring strain.
It's a big loss.
The injury appeared to occur during Sunday afternoon's win over the LA Dodgers, his former team. He'll miss at least the next 15 days, and it is not known whether he will need more time after that. Lamont Wade Jr., we'll wait and see about him. Giants are just going down. The injury report brought to you by Boxer & Gerzer, Northern California's premier workers' compensation law firm, helping get your workers get their lives back for over 40 years. What's coming up on the game? Sponsored by Fremont Bank, full-service banking, no compromises. The one, the only, Tony Gwynn Jr. He's going to talk about those pesky Padres on the other side.
It's a shame. It's embarrassing.
Hi, welcome to the IKEA Midsummer Day.
talk to the ones who do it. This is Matt.
It can feel like trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use...
Well, they found another way. The Giants now have won 9 straight.
No cha-cha for you, Padres. Oh, baby. What a win for the Giants last night. 4-3. They win their 9th straight. They're now 13-4 in the month of June. What a mess the Padres are. As we say, good morning to everybody out there getting after graveyard shift. If you're at work, what is happening? Good morning to all the professional dancers up there on Broadway Street. It was a 2-for-1 Tuesday. And let me tell you, at the 32,000 attended Oracle Park, I guarantee you business was booming last night. Good morning to all the dudes who contributed to the funds, to the college funds last night. Good morning to all the union workers, carpenters, janitors, plumbers, little leaguers. Everybody out there, Spadoni, Lovin, Joe Shasky the Butcher. Let's bring in Tony Gwynn Jr., MLB insider right here for Odyssey.
You never cease to amaze me.
The original podcast, Big Time Baseball with John Heyman, covering all things Major League Baseball. And let me tell you something. Tony Gwynn Jr. has been a friend of the program for a very long time. And Tony, we're big-time Giants fans. There's no secret. They're hot right now. But as a Giants fan last night, I could not go to bed without thinking how much of a mess the Padres are. I'm dumbfounded, Tony. Seriously. The walks, late inning situations, the bad base running, situational hitting. The Padres had no business losing the first 2 games of the series. And yet here we are with the Giants with a 9-game win streak. You've covered them all season. You've covered them for a long time. What the heck is going down there in San Diego?
I mean, those 3 things that you hit on have been kind of the story of the season. Not so much the late inning walks, but situational hitting, occasional bad base running, and it's culminated into a year in which it's been very underwhelming. And these last 2 days, it's usually been the offense that has struggled, as you mentioned. Runners were scoring position, situational hitting, but the last 2 nights, it's been the bullpen. It's in the game of baseball. It's not always going to set up perfectly where you score enough runs, you got some breathing room. Yesterday and the first night here, unfortunately, the bullpen couldn't hold it down. And, right now the Giants got that late inning magic thing going again. And you can almost feel it in the building as it starts to kind of unravel. And they've been able to get the first 2 games of this series.
Well, it's an interesting, I guess, case study when you contrast the two organizations. Giants fans were looking at the Padres for multiple years saying, that's the team we want to be. Look, they're spending money. They're making bold trades. They're one of their guys, Machado, who they opt out. They're going to re-sign him. They're bringing in Bogarts, just all in, all in, all in. The Giants whiffed in free agency, and yet I sit here today and I feel like, maybe the Padres just that model doesn't work because they feel off. They don't feel like they're a connective unit, even though individuals are balling right now. I look at the Giants. Crawford gets pinch hit for. Everyone's buying in. There's no sulking. There's no anger. Here comes Casey Schmidt. He draws a walk. Do you get where I'm going with this?
Yeah, I get where you're going. But, I think a lot of that is determined by wins and losses, right? When the Giants were pedaling there below 500, probably didn't feel the same way.
No.
But they've run off, 8, 9 straight here.
9 straight.
And, everything that Gabe does, every button he pushes is turning into gold. And there was a similar feeling here in San Diego last year. As you got towards the back end of that season and into the playoffs, it seemed like every button Bo Mel pushed, it was gold. It worked out. And so, a lot of what you see is determined by, wins and losses, how well your team is playing. Right now, when you look into that Giants dugout and you're watching the game, it's hard not to look at them and think, man, these guys are all pulling the rope in the same way. And the results, would indicate that they are. Where on the flip side, the Padres, they did a lot of things good for the first, 7 innings, 8 innings, the last 2 nights. And then it just all came unraveling at the same time. And so, as much as it may look that way, I think the Padres are pulling in the same rope, but it's about execution, man. You gotta be able to do whatever the game is requiring you to do, especially in late innings. And these last 2 nights, the Padres haven't done that.
No doubt about that. We're talking to Tony Gwynn Jr., of course, Padres radio broadcaster, host of the Odyssey original podcast, Big Time Baseball with John Heyman. He's been covering the Padres for a long, long time down there in San Diego. Let's shift to the Giants here. They brought us some young studs here, Casey Schmidt, Patrick Bailey, Luis Matos. They were very important. They had big-time roles in that bottom of the 9th inning against Josh Hader and Martinez. What has your impressions been of the youngsters, Matos, Schmidt, and Bailey?
Well, I know Casey. He went to San Diego State, which is my alumni. So I've known him since he was a freshman there. And man, I'm proud to watch him, come up here and have some success, put together a great at-bat in the 9th. When I look at the young guys that have come up for San Francisco, it's been a long time since the Giants have been able to dip into their minor league system, and it's not somebody who's 29, 31.
Yep.
And so, the young talent is starting to come up. And you look on most teams that have success, it's a good mix of veterans and young guys. And for the group that they brought up, they've all been productive. They've all been ready for that moment. And I think that's a large part of why the Giants have gone on this run, right? They've been infused with this young talent. And these guys are go-getters. They want to be here. They know they belong. And, on the veteran side, it's credit to them for making it a welcoming place. It's not always like that for young guys who come up, but you get the sense, listening to Gabe talk before the last 2 games, that this is a locker room that has welcomed these young dudes with open arms, and all that does is lay the groundwork for those guys to go out and feel comfortable and just be them. And you've gotten a lot of results out of the young guys because of that.
Tony, as somebody who's been around the game for so long, I'm curious your opinion on just the overall state of pitching in baseball. The Giants are a great example. They've got one dude who can go 5 every time, 7 a lot of times in Logan Webb, and then it's a lot of duct tape, and you're seeing the opener and you're seeing the bullpen get stretched out a lot. Is this era of guys coming up in tournament baseball, in travel baseball, are they more accustomed to kind of the way these bullpens are being used at the big league level now as openers? 2 innings here, 4 innings from that guy, 2 innings here. Like, are we kind of sleeping on all of these guys coming up that way, as now it may not be the model for all 5 slots of a rotation, but it's going to be more prevalent than we want to admit?
I think it just depends. When you don't have pitching depth per se, starting pitching depth, you have to kind of rely on, this kind of format for your staff. And I think when you look at the Giants, they're a little banged up on the starting rotation. And so when you don't have depth, you got to find ways to, still be productive as a ball club and give yourself a chance to win. Now, they've been able to do that. The young kid Walker, who started the first night, he's going to start tonight as an opener. You have to kind of set that up throughout your minor league system if you have a need to do that. Mm-hmm. And the Giants, they're as forefront thinking as you're going to, as an organization, as you're going to find in Major League Baseball. So I don't necessarily think that tournament ball is having an impact on that. I just think you look at your roster, not only at the big league level, but up and down your minor league system, and you have to make a determination. Do we have enough depth? If 2 people go down, if 1 person goes down, do we have guys that can come in and fill that spot by themselves? Or are we going to have to do it by committee? They've had to do it by committee. They've had success doing it. Can they do that the whole year and have success? I don't know. I think that remains to be seen, but right now, you ride the wave, and that's certainly what the Giants are doing.
Yeah, no, we're definitely riding it, too. We're talking to Tony Gwynn Jr., longtime radio broadcaster for the San Diego Padres, MLB insider, and host of the Odyssey original podcast, Big Time Baseball, with our buddy John Heyman, covering all things Major League Baseball. And considering what a deadline is this year, August 1st, there's a lot of teams still in it. It's probably a little too early to talk trades, but I wonder, with so many teams now positioning themselves, we'll see the Cincinnati Reds winning 10 in a row. They're now in first place. Diamondbacks have come out of nowhere. They're red hot, even though they lost last night. The Dodgers are going to be itching to do something at the deadline with the way their bullpen has performed in the month of June. How active do you think some of these teams will be in the National League, including your San Diego Padres, who are in a win-now mode, Tony?
Yeah, no, I think this year's deadline is going to be fascinating from the standpoint that I don't see there being as many sellers as there are buyers. As you just mentioned, there's so many teams. I think even by August will still be in it.
Yeah,
that there's going to be a almost inflation for the players that are available, because there's not going to be as many available. I think most of the guys have. It seems like that would be up, have either signed long-term or aren't going to be made available, right? You think Ohtani, that Angel team is going to be in it.
Yeah.
It's not going anywhere.
Yep.
So I think the pool of players is going to be a lot smaller. I don't think it's going to be as deep. And so what that means is the price hike for these said individuals is going to be through the roof. And so do you have the young players to be able to give up to get some of these guys? Are you willing to pay that tax on certain guys? And I think all those teams you mentioned will be in it, but I just don't know that there's going to be the availability of the specific players, especially bullpen. I think that's where everybody's going to be looking, is to add at the bullpen, and I just don't see that many guys out there available.
Yeah, I don't either. Last night, I don't know if you were paying attention, but Juan Soto took forever to run out onto the field in the 9th inning. I don't know. There are people theorizing he was using the restroom and kind of delaying the game, if you will. I find him to be very interesting. Everyone on that team has gotten paid, it feels like, on the Padres. And he's sitting here. He's got like a year or so left of his current deal before he becomes an unrestricted free agent. He turned down 15 years, over $440 million, reportedly, from Washington. What are they going to do with him?
It's a good question. I think ultimately Juan has chosen to go this route. I mean, it's not not that unusual, right? A lot of Boris guys, they play it out. They go to free agency. That is the plan. So I don't necessarily think he looks at it as a guy, I haven't gotten paid yet or anything like that. But I do think he wants to maximize that opportunity. Now, that being said, if the right deal comes along and the Padres feel like they can extend him, at this point, it's hard to deny that they won't do what they can to extend him. I mean, they've done it with everybody else. Even in chances I thought there was no chance in the world, they have found a way to do it. So I won't put it past them, but I think this has been by choice. This has been by design for Juan,
right?
To get to free agency, to maximize his value. Doesn't mean he's not open to it, but I think this is the route he has chosen on purpose.
Yeah, Tony, he's really turned it up here, and Fernando Tatis Jr. has turned it up since he's been back. I mean, the guy's a stud.
He's a
stud. Five-tool player. He's playing a hell of a right field, but we don't know what that clubhouse is like. You're around the team every day, and you hear little whispers, the team's not feeling this energy. Tatis Jr., that is. He's not really a likable guy. Who is Fernando Tatis Jr.? Has he bounced back from being suspended? Has he won that clubhouse back with this performance on the field? And are they feeling him again? Because I know he let a lot of people down there in San Diego with the PED suspension.
There's no doubt he did. And, I think he understood that this is, even as we sit here today, it's a long process. It's not just, you come back and you get love. But I think, when he had the team meeting with the ball club one-on-one last year with his teammates, I think they kind of laid it out there. And I give him a ton of credit. He came into spring training just with a different mindset than I think he had before. He's been super accommodating to those. He's been a lot more welcoming. And I just think he gets it. I think he understands the mistake he made. And I think in terms of his teammates, where would the Padres be without him?
I know.
6 games worse.
He has been so good. He has gotten so good at right field so fast. And now all of a sudden he's starting to get comfortable at the plate.
Mm-hmm.
So you're reminded of how talented that this kid is. And to his credit, I think he recognizes the mistake. He has come back with a kind of a humble spirit about it. And, it's been weird going to different cities. We've been to New York. We've been here in San Francisco. These are tough places to come in and play as a visitor, especially with what he has hanging over his head.
Mm-hmm.
It has seemed like it has been pretty, dull compared to what we've seen in the past for a guy in a situation. I think that's based on how he handles fans and opposition. And, that's to his credit.
Early in the year, he's dancing to the people that are giving him chants and stuff. And I thought playing into that was actually a smart thing. You know what I mean? To let it know that it's not getting phased and he's not being phased. It's funny. I coach all these Little League kids. Their favorite player, even with all the stuff that happened, is Fernando Tatis Jr. I know the video game plays a big part of that. His personality, his style of play. But he's exciting and fun, I think, at his core. And I think a lot of people are willing to give him a pass because he smiles. Just literally, that's it.
That's a great observation because, for most guys in these situations, they don't have the type of personality that Fernando has. This dude, he enjoys baseball, and as you said, he's constantly smiling on the field. And there's something about that I think disarms people, and doesn't necessarily mean they forget about what he's done, but they are willing to give him a pass on it. And it's a credit to him. When joy comes through you the way it does when he's on the field, it's kind of hard to stay mad at the guy.
I totally agree.
That's just the observation I had.
He's got a David Ortiz-like kind of quality in that I can't hate him. I just can't as much as I want to.
He's just a baller.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, he's just a baller, right?
But he has fun.
Yeah, no, he does have fun.
I love it.
No, he's legit. Tony, I got to ask you this, man. I'm looking at your Twitter bio, and we've had you on before. I didn't realize you were a Laker fan.
Die hard.
Oh, my gosh. You want Draymond Green on your team?
I certainly wouldn't turn my man Draymond down. He'd be a perfect fit in Los Angeles.
Oh my God,
$30 million, you got him.
Oh, my
No, I'm
God.
kidding. Hey, Tony, man, always good talking to you, man. Keep up the good work with the Padres. Are you in town right now? I know you're on the radio broadcast. You in town right now?
Yeah, I'm in town.
All right.
Got a chance to enjoy the city the last 2 days.
Nice.
All right, there
Very
you go.
cool.
We got to come by and say hi.
Go get a burrito. Go to La Taqueria out in the Mission. Go get yourself a nice burrito. I like the carne asada.
Where the burrito? Boy, hold on. He's in San Diego, and I know it's the home of the torta.
Yeah,
the tortas are really good in San Diego. Well, you prefer? You probably can't go to San Diego.
You can't go to House of Prime Rib. They got night games and stuff. So I'm trying to, maybe he can go get himself a Guerra sandwich on 15th and Terraville.
Yeah.
Go see my boy Caliber. Go get himself a burger. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud here, bud.
Hey, listen, I appreciate all the suggestions because your boy loves to eat. So I'm gonna figure it out.
I'm feeling
no
it.
doubt.
Hey, best thing the Padres ever did was switch to these like
Going
retro
back to
new
Brown.
unis.
Yeah,
They're
no
so
doubt.
sick.
Hey, Tony,
on the real,
screaming.
it is such a good look.
No doubt it is. Those uniforms
I
pop,
love
Tony.
them. And the yellow pops.
The yellow does pop. Listen, my dad was not a big fan of the brown and orange that they had, but the way they have kind of made this more, I don't know, modern. This brown and yellow more modern. I think their pinstripe road uniforms are like some of the best in the league.
They're hard.
I enjoy these uniforms myself.
No, they're really good. And we enjoy your insight on baseball,
Good stuff,
Tony.
man.
Good stuff, man. Check out his
Thanks for
original
coming on.
podcast, Big Time Baseball, an Odyssey original, of course, with John Heyman covering all things Major League Baseball. Tony, if we don't see you this homestand, we'll definitely see you in September. Weird schedules. Last time we'll see each other for a long time here, but Padres got work to do here. Thanks for the time today, Tony.
No problem. Thanks for having me, fellas.
Anytime. Tony Gwynn Jr., MLB Insider here at Odyssey, the original podcast, Big Time Baseball with John Heyman.
And as I talk about Little League and how, Fernando Tatis Jr. is like, he's a god to a lot of the young kids. Like, that's their favorite player over anyone. Julio Rodriguez is up there, too. My boy James, who's on my Carl's team, hits me up as I'm giving out burrito recommendations. La Tapia, young man, just has to. And by the way, he's a guy who has a pink and turquoise glove from 44. Because why? Because that's what all the ball players have on the San Diego Padres when they were wearing those pink and turquoise jerseys.
Got it. A lot of name, Josh, man. Who else did you drop there to go get a burger?
Sean, my buddy Sean, who owns Caliber.
Right,
Sean Patrick.
Caliber. I thought that was the person's name.
No,
Sorry.
as in high caliber burger, but instead of caliber as in ER, it's burr as in burger.
Where's it at?
Excalibur, shout out.
Yeah,
Sword of Stone.
Yeah, that too. It's on West Portal.
West Portal?
Yeah, excellent.
It's not the Buffalo Burgers, right?
No.
I do. What did he say? No. The Buffalo
No,
Burger
I said no.
spot's good, too.
His is all organic.
Okay,
It's
got
delicious.
it. The Buffalo
I love
Burger
it.
spot. Tell me it's not good.
They're both good. I'm not going to diminish any small business.
All right.
But I lean towards supporting my friend,
All right, there you
who's
go.
a great community ambassador.
I don't even know who he is. Bull's Head is what it's called. Beeps Burgers, that's right.
Beeps
Burgers
is having a
great.
renaissance right now.
What's happening at Beeps?
Well, just they've had new ownership and now it's thriving. Like
Is it really?
Like it never has.
They
yeah.
still sell the fish burger up there?
A lot, and the nuggets and everything. Yeah, it's
I
going on.
haven't been on that side of town in a while.
It's interesting that he brought up
but I'm on that soda diet, so I can't really.
Fernando Tatis Jr. and how he's dealt with some of the people yelling at him. Like, that has not really been a thing. Like, leading into this series, did we even talk about his performance-enhancing suspension?
Yeah. Bull's Head Burgers, that's what it's called? The Buffalo Burger spot? Yeah, that one's
when
popping.
Bonds went down to San Diego, remember, they threw an inflatable syringe at him.
No doubt.
We saw it firsthand, the Bonds thing. Yeah. It's kind of funny, 15 years later, does anyone hold anything against Fernando Tatis Jr.?
It doesn't seem like it.
If anything, and I'm just telling you, as someone who loves baseball, we need more Fernando Tatis Jr. Now, I'm not condoning what he did.
You mean more PED users?
No. I'm not condoning what he did.
Look, do you really, honestly, let's stop for a second.
Yeah.
Do you really care if somebody does steroids or not?
No, I don't.
anymore?
But I don't think that telling kids, but that's where you
hey,
have to
little
be a parent.
Charlie,
No, but
it's okay to take steroids. No, I'm kidding, Charlie.
But
don't do
that's where
it.
you need to be a parent or
Yeah,
a guardian
no
or an influence in someone's life and explain to them why they don't need to do it. But I think that's a weak ass excuse. Like, oh, the kids and I get it from a competitive standpoint, but dude, weightlifting, nutrition, all of these things are through the roof. I'm not condoning the performance enhancing. I just want to talk about the player. The player brings me to the TV. The player makes me want to watch the Padres. The player makes kids tap into the game. And I know that he comes with some baggage, and he doesn't play the game right all the time.
Do you think
runs
in 15
the bases
years,
poorly.
If he does run it. He got caught.
He runs the bases poorly.
Yeah, no doubt. 15 years from now, if he puts up Hall of Fame numbers, will he be denied the Hall of Fame because of his PED suspension?
I feel like I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how many people are going to hold that against him. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know either. I think the new generation's kind of like, you know what?
Who cares?
Yeah.
Okay, great example. He smiles. And I used the David Ortiz as an example. David Ortiz smiles, and the media likes him, and the fans like him. And so, do we give a damn that he was on the Mitchell Report?
Yeah, no doubt.
Do we give a damn that he had no career when he was with the Twins?
I don't anymore, but Uncle Looney kind of says that you will be a fool to think that some of these dudes ain't out here juicing, trying to get over. I'm kind of with them.
What do you
mean? I think a lot of dudes are trying to get ahead of the game because money's on the line.
Melky Cabrera, look at this. This is what Melky Cabrera came from a country where he literally had no running water. And it was up to him to be able to get $100 million contract to change the family life forever, for generations. The reward is significantly higher than the risk. And even after he got popped, Bonte, he got a $50 million deal, I believe, in the White Sox.
There you go.
So, I think a lot of guys are cheating that we don't know about, and I really don't care.
Baseball's the only sport we really seem to care, because no one cares in football. Von Miller's going to the Hall of Fame. He took steroids. DeAndre Hopkins, he's going to the Hall of Fame.
He took forehead.
No one cares.
Have you seen
the other
LeBron's
sports.
Forehead?
It's only the MLB, and we know why.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, let's break here. Rich Aria coming up. From Tony Gwynn Jr. to Rich Aria, one of the best shortstops in Giants history. We do need a burrito for the morning roast. By the way, is it an Ernie Chavez Friday?
Let's do that. Let's do that.
Ernie Chavez Friday? Is he ready to come to the studio for 5 minutes? Ernie!
I love it.
You got to follow up Uncle Gene. I don't know if you're ready for that, Ernie. Rich Aria coming up here on the morning roast, and that will be brought to you by 7-Eleven. 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 Shout out Beyonce.
A small blue raspberry Slurpee drink from 7-Eleven is the perfect frozen accessory for any summer.
you ever call me a homer.
All right, welcome back to the roast. Welcome back.
9-game winning streak. And guess what else? Not only does that make us float, virtual meeting today
virtual
for all
staff meeting. Thank God.
Which means we don't have to wait around.
Stacey Kaufman. Thank you for that one.
I feel like Joc Pederson. I just bat flipped a walk.
Now, are the cameras supposed to be on or off? Can we do the Zoom meeting with the camera off? With the
do the JD. JD does like the background of Oracle Arena. You should do that.
No. I'm not doing that. It'd just be a Bay Bridge or something.
Oh, I guess it's the Chase Center now.
Because I like the Bay Bridge. I like the Bay Bridge better than the Golden Gate. I know the Golden Gate is iconic.
What part? What span? Because there's two spans, technically.
I like both spans. I like the East Bay span and the West Bay span. I like both.
The East Bay span has really grown on me.
No, I love it.
At first, I was like, I
love it.
But it looks better than it used to.
I love it.
Too bad it took 10 years late. And
I don't care about
billions of dollars overpriced.
I like my East Bay people. I represent for the East Bay because you got iconic moments at the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum. All right, let's go to my boy, Richie, the pride of St. John's. We love him here. NBC Sports Bay Area pre- and post-game show with Laura Britt, Colors Ramirez, George Conto, Sean Estes, you name it. Former Giant, of course, and he's on the airways. And I know our boy Sam Lubman, he's so caught up, Richie, in the Giants' 9-game winning streak. We have these show notes, right, Richie? And we have all these questions on here. And the questions for Rich Aurelia is, and I'll read them to you, Richie. Do you think Dunleavy is more likely to shake up the roster or run his core back? Where is Draymond Green playing next year? Do you think Poole and Draymond can coexist on his team or has that ship sailed? So he's got nothing but basketball questions for Rich Aurelia. But we're not going to ask you any hoop questions, even though you can do it. How about those Giants, though, Richie? Woo!
Hey, I can handle the hoops questions. I'm watching enough of those ball games, man.
No, I know you can. You gave us one of our best segments this year on Warriors pre- and post-game live. I know you can talk some hoops.
Yeah, that was a fun day. But I know, listen, the talk of the moment's the Giants. So I don't think anybody saw a 9-game winning streak coming. Especially with all the guys banged up that they have right now. But man, it's been kind of nice to see. It's a little right now. I think it's a little reminiscent of the 2021 season with a lot of the late season comebacks and having a feeling that, if you just keep the team close, maybe within, 2 or 3 runs, you got a chance late in the game. And that's what we've seen the past, I can't say the past 2 games. I mean, we saw it in St. Louis too. So, the past 9 games or so, we've seen that.
Rich, you were obviously a shortstop. You wore number 35. And, Father Time comes beckoning for all athletes and all of us at some point. So I want your perspective on this. It's got to be difficult, right? Like, Crawford gets a base hit in the 7th inning, gets the game to 3-2, drives it right up the middle. They desperately needed a hit right then and there. And then 9th inning comes around, and the guy who's kind of coming for your spot, I know he plays other positions as well, but he's going to get subbed in. I know they're going with the matchup there, but you've got professional pride. This is the guy coming for my spot, and Crawford doesn't show boo-hoo. He doesn't get angry, stays totally calm, kind of rolls with the flow. Schmidt goes in there, draws a walk. Am I making too much of that dynamic? Because I don't think we're giving enough credit to Crawford in that situation, to Gabe Kapler of having the equity to be able to pull that maneuver. Like, I know that they're all spreadsheet driven, but there's a human element to that. And to me, like, the biggest part of this win streak, he's pulling all the right strings, and guys are buying in.
Yeah, there's a couple sides to that. One is, I do feel for Craw because, I've been that guy. I mean, granted, I wasn't an everyday guy the last few years of my career here as a Giant, but regardless, I think as a player who's played a long time and had the success that he's had, you always feel like you can play every day. You always feel like you can go out and do it and compete at a high level every day. And, not till I was retired for a few years can I sit back and say, man, maybe that last year, maybe I wasn't ready to play. Maybe it was over a year before. And I'm not saying that's what's going on with Brandon. I mean, we got a long season and a lot of time left for him to, contribute and be a big part of his ball club, which he is, to your point, which he is even when he's not playing or when he's, getting pinch hit for. I mean, he's a professional. Guy's been through everything he could been through. So, or he could be through. So, he's just going to sit there. He's going to take it professionally. Sometimes you may not agree with it while it's going on, but you understand the dynamic of, one, how your season's going, two, the matchup thing. Listen, we've watched Gabe do this for 4 years now, right? And honestly, surprisingly enough, on the flip side of that, the last 2 nights you see 2 lefties come up in big at-bats and basically win the game against a left-handed pitcher. And I think that's just something about their depth. They're not as deep as they were, to use these line changes. So I do feel for Craw. Hopefully I'm rooting for him to come out of it. But you're right, man. There's a lot of miles on that guy and a lot of innings. And, when you get to a certain age, just sometimes, I was having a conversation just yesterday with just a random fan, and, sometimes things just slow down. Like you said, Father Time kind of comes around, and your bat speed's not the same as it was. Maybe your eyesight's not the same as it was. Maybe your first step quickness on defense isn't the same as it was. But, you got to figure out a way to get through it and help this team compete and win, which I think he will.
Yeah, Rich Aurelia here on the Morning Roast on 95.7 The Game from 99 to 01. Had one of the best 3-year stretches for a Giants shortstop in the history of the Giants. Hit 79 home runs, 256 RBIs, and batting nearly 300. Rich, when we look at this Giants team, and 9-game winning streak, I don't know how they're doing it with the lack of starting pitching that they have right now. DeSclafani scuffling, Cobb's on the IL, Alex Wood is good for 5 innings. Logan Webb has really been the most stable starting pitcher on the staff here. Are the Giants... Can we take them serious with this pitching staff in its current state, or do they need to go out and get a big boy to help out Logan Webb in his starting rotation? What do you think the urgency is there when it comes to the pitching staff of the Giants?
Well, I think you take them seriously. Just, granted, the other talk of the National League are the Reds right now.
Yeah.
Was anybody taking them seriously a month ago? No.
Your other squad.
Yeah,
everybody's standing up and paying attention. So I think you have to take them seriously. I think my concern, though, and you're right, Bonte, is the pitching, because, it's a trickle-down effect, right? So, okay, you have 3 starters that are healthy. You got Webby, who's throwing the ball well. You had Alex Cobb, who's throwing the ball well, but now he's on the IL. And Stripling's still on the IL. And you have Wood, who is still coming back from the IL, but even when he was healthy, they were only letting him go 4 1/3. 4 2/3. I mean, it was a luxury if he went 5 innings. So and you see now Brevia, right? You started him or opened him all those games on that road trip, and now he's on the IL. So it's a trickle down effect. So it's hard to sustain the way they're doing things now for the long term, because if you keep bringing in, Beck to throw 4 or 5 innings, or Manaea to throw 4 or 5 innings, or whoever else, Wynn to throw 4 or 5 innings. Well, but then that affects your bullpen, right? So then those guys got to come in sooner and eat up more innings. So my concern isn't, today. My concern is, what does that bullpen and the rotation look like going into August?
Right.
And you bring up, do they need somebody? They need somebody that they can rely on and be healthy. Listen, Cobb's been great.
Yep.
I mean, and that really hurts his team, him going down. But, of course, the next topic should be, well, when do you call Kyle Harrison up? When do you call Kyle Harrison up? Well, in my opinion, you call him up when he could go at least 6 or 7 innings and throw 90 and 95 pitches. And they don't let him do that yet.
Thank you.
So is he really going to help your club coming up when he's going to do the same thing that Beck or Wynn or Manaea or whoever's going to do? So does that really help you? You maybe even infuses some energy into the club and gets the fans excited, but I don't think any fan really wants to see him come out and go 4 innings and throw 75 pitches and then he gets pulled, So I think that's a big need for them. I think they could piece it together offensively. And, what I hit on earlier, you let Yaz hit the other night against a lefty. And you let Joc hit last night against a tough lefty, and they come through. And all that could do for those guys is boost their confidence as an offensive player, that they're in there in game-winning or clutch situations, and they come through, which can only help the team. But I think deep down they really, really need to I don't even want to say get one arm. I think they're going to need a few.
Yes,
really
no doubt.
That's what we were saying
down the stretch.
Yep,
yeah, I think they need two. I think they need two mid-level starters at this point, at minimum. And Richie, I'm looking at Luis Matos right now, and he just passes the eye test. I mean, I don't know what he'll end up becoming. He's at the very, very beginning, but in terms of gliding the balls in the outfield, plate discipline, speed, I mean, Toolsy only begins to explain what you see in him as a prospect. What are you seeing in terms of the eyeball? Because I think he passes the eyeball test.
I see a guy that's playing very relaxed. That's what I see. I mean, which, a lot of pressure sometimes from young players comes from themselves when they press too hard, or they're trying too hard, or they push too hard. And don't forget, like a couple of years ago, let's say 2 or 3 years ago, I mean, this guy's name was mentioned with Luciano and Kyle Harrison, and he just didn't have a good year, so he kind of fell off the radar a little bit. But you always hear, and I I listen to sports talk radio sometimes, and I've heard Farhan say we're not going to call a guy up until he's dominating his level. Well, this is the first guy I feel like they've called up that was dominating the level at the particular time he got called up. Granted, it wasn't for a whole season, but it was for a good chunk. It was about a month or maybe 5-week period where he was just dominating AAA. And yeah, would he have been called up if there wasn't injuries? I don't know, but the fact that they had some injuries to the outfield and they call him up, I mean that says a lot about him and what they see. And I just think like the plate discipline he shows, he doesn't swing a lot of balls out of the zone.
Yep.
Which is a huge trait for a young player to have. Because most guys, there's so much more scouting up here and digging into what players' weaknesses are. And if you're a young player and you don't chase balls out of the zones, I mean, you're ahead of the game already. If a pitcher knows how I throw this ball like 6 inches off the plate, slider away, and this guy's just going to lay off, oh man, all right, I got to come over the plate a little bit more with this pitch if I want it to be swung out or have it be a strike. So I like what I've seen so far, and I like too that they haven't really pushed him too hard yet. In the sense of like a Casey Schmidt, I think they played him so much right away that now there's the book on him, right? We saw 3 weeks ago Casey Schmidt was a Hall of Famer, right? now he's, I don't know what he's hitting, 260, 265. Right. But again, it's a learning curve and a learning process. And we saw, he had a big at-bat the other night, coming in a pinch hit, and he got a walk. And it's a learning curve. So, a guy like Casey Schmidt, I mean, everybody in the league knows, I mean, you got to watch just a few games to know he swings at the first pitch every time. So you're not going to get that fastball down the middle every time. And he's a guy that could possibly, in the opposite of Matos, he's a guy that I've seen, chase a few pitches out of his zone early in the count. So it is a learning process, but they have a nice little 3 young player core that we've seen called up here in the last 6-7 weeks or so.
Rich Aurelia here on the Morning Roast on 95.7 The Game. Rich, I got to ask you, when you were playing, you heard that smoke on the water come blaring through the speakers when Rob Nan came out of that pen. It was basically automatic. He was going to save that game. You guys are going to go home with a W. Camilo Duvall is giving me those same vibes. I think he has the potential. Not going to put him in the Hall of Fame, but I think he has the potential to be the best closer in San Francisco Giants history, and it's amazing to see him grow. That at-bat against Manny Machado Monday night, 11-pitch at-bat where he kept his cool. He's throwing cutters, 100 miles an hour. Then he gets him on that slider. And Manny Machado kind of looked back at him. I was like, what? Respect, young kid. Respect. Talk about Camilo Duvall, because it does feel like he's headed to Seattle for the All-Star game. What do you see out of him? Because, again, the potential's through the roof with this kid.
Well, one, I agree with you in the sense that he'll probably go down as the best closer in Giants history. And probably because he's still so young, right? Yeah. He came up at a ripe young age. And again, he was another guy. They didn't really push into that closer role right away. But he's kind of really, really groomed himself to be that closer. And you hit it right on the head, man, Devontae. Poise. The poise this guy has out there. Nothing really seems to rattle him. I think we've seen one time in his career where I think he threw his glove down one time or something. And I think that was just like an anomaly, right? You don't see that very often out of him. Again, again, in the scheme of things, he's pounding the strike zone a little bit more now, where in the past it was like, 1-0, 2-0, 3-1, 3-2, it was deeper counts. So as this closer role, you want to see guys like that can pound the zone and get ahead and limit their pitches. And I remember playing, I played with Robbie Nen for years. He's still a great friend. And again, Robbie got to us, not later in his career, but probably mid-career.
Right.
And Robbie just had that devastating slider, hard fastball and the slider that looked just like the fastball. But I remember early in my career playing with Rod Beck, who at the time was probably, one of the top closers in baseball. And he told me one time, he goes, my goal is to be within, and this is funny, my goal is to be within 8 pitches of being ready to go in the game because I know I get 8 pitches on the mound when I come in the game to warm up. So if I know I'm close, I tell them I'm ready, and I go and I get 8 more pitches. And 2, he goes, 2 out of the first 3 pitches that I throw to a hitter, I want them to be strikes. Whether the ball's put in play, or whether it's swing and miss, or whether it's a swing over the top of a split finger. He goes, that's how I limit my pitches, where it means I could be available for the next day or the next couple of days in a row. And I think that we're starting to see that with Doval. His pitch count's getting lower and lower. I think each time he gets in there, and granted, you're going to have an at-bat where a guy has an 11-pitch at-bat. I mean, you're facing a future Hall of Famer in Machado, right? You expect that. But he's really, really transformed into a really nice piece to this Giants puzzle, and especially looking forward in the second half of the season, where you're going to need that guy down the stretch, maybe to go 2 innings.
Yeah.
That's a really interesting point that you made about Rod Beck. I really like that. Yeah. Richie, I'm looking at infield defense. Last year, base running and infield defense, horrific. Just not good. The lack of being able to shift, I thought was going to really kill them. And then I look around and I'm like, whoa, J.D. Davis looks solid, like really solid at third base. I didn't see that coming. Wow, Cross still got it. Obviously, Schmidt up the middle. Estrada could play there a little. Estrada, he didn't look good at second. Let's just call it what it is. And he looks great this year. Lamont Wade Jr. at first base. Didn't see this coming. They've done a great job developing their infield defensively, and I just didn't see that coming. Are you as surprised as I am?
I'm surprised at a few, but I'm not surprised at others. Let's start with Schmidt, the youngest guy in that group. I mean, that's all we heard about him coming up, right? He was a Matt Chapman-like third baseman. So his defensive skill does not surprise me. His arm is second to none. So that doesn't really surprise me. Even when you're moving the shortstop, he's young, so he could still move around really well, and he could handle that position. But then you move around. J.D. Davis, listen, he played for the Mets, right? We didn't really get a lot of those games out here. He didn't play a lot. I mean, from what I remember, I don't think he was an everyday player, but we've seen him, and at times this year, he's played Gold Glove caliber third base. He's made some of the best plays I've seen this year. And then you move over to first, and Lamont Wade, he's done a fantastic job over there. You're going from a guy who, I don't know how Belt never won a Gold Glove, but you're replacing a guy who is really, really good defensively, and you're holding your own. And the knock on Tyro was his defense. And listen, here's the one thing that defensively, which I don't agree with, are the metrics of defense. Because defense to me is hard to judge with a number.
I agree.
Because last year, on our show, Carlos Ramirez was like, yeah, look, Tyro ranks like in the bottom 3 in Major League Baseball in whatever it was. Defensive,
it was range and defensive outs over whatever. I'm with you.
But I don't ever remember him at second base. I don't ever remember him costing the Giants a game with his defense. I don't ever remember that. It was like when I played with Jeff Kent. His defense got knocked all the time. Like, oh, he's a third baseman playing second base. But Jeff never cost us any games on defense. And that's how I feel about Tyro. Like, he's gotten better this year, probably because they look, because you know how analytically driven this team is.
Right.
They probably looked at the analytics and said, you really need to work on your defense this winter. And whether it be your first step quickness or, getting to a ball 3 steps to your left and trying to get in front of it instead of back, whatever it is. But I've never felt like he's a terrible second baseman.
Right.
And he has improved this year. So you look at all that work that's been done and the guys that they brought in and the guys that are changing positions and this and that, they've done a nice job. And I don't worry about Crawford, man.
No, I don't
really
either.
don't. I don't. I mean, he's going to make his errors. You're going to make errors, but I don't really worry about him. And then it's funny, you brought up the base running stuff, and I think that was all just one guy.
Luis.
Last year was like Dubon, I think.
Well, Luis Gonzalez was bad too.
So they have made some strides, and it's nice that this 9-game winning streak's going on. It seems like they're clicking on all cylinders, but again, they need to get a little healthier, and get some guys back, especially in that rotation. And then, you didn't even bring up the outfield defense. I think the outfield defense has been pretty darn good.
Yaz in right is elite, and then you put Matos in center, and then you slide over Conforto to left. I think it's a great outfield defense.
I mean, I like that they have options out there where when you have Matos, Conforto, and Yaz out there, you basically have 3 guys that could play center.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. They could. And when you have that in that big outfield, and you have, and listen, I think, for me, this is just me personally, I think Yaz has played more right field there, and I like Conforto in left just because of the experience of handling that right field and that right center field with the wind, with the deep right center, gap there. And I think that's the outfield you're probably going to see for quite a while because of Haniger being out for an extended period of time. And, now, when you play Slater against lefties, is that going to be, you're going to move Conforto back to right and then put Slater in left? I don't know, but it's nice to have those options. And, they are playing, way better. They did get better definitely in the outfield than they have been in years.
No doubt about that. Rich Arroyo here on the roast. I'm glad you brought up Jeff Kent because I think he needs more love about here. I've been banging on town. I want Jeff Kent back in town. He's a great Giant, man, and should have a lot more consideration for the Baseball Hall of Fame, man. I mean, those numbers you put up at second base, but that's a conversation for another day. Richie, we got to run. We always appreciate the time. Hopefully you're doing well up in Napa, and we'll see you on the tube. When you back on TV?
I actually had the whole month of June off because I had a full slate on the personal side of things. So I'm back July 3rd. So I will be back for the holiday, back on TV. And hopefully, Bonte, you figure out that Warriors stuff by then. Let's go.
Oh, man.
Get it going, man.
Draymond Green, Klay Thompson. I don't know what we got a new GM, Mike Dunleavy Jr. I was just talking to Willie yesterday, man. We don't know what's going on, but we'll be back, and we can't wait to see you back in the studio.
Thanks, Richie.
All right, guys. Take care, man.
Anytime. Rich Arroyo, good sport here on the Morning Roast on 95.7 The Game. A good sport, man. He keeps it real, too. Keeps it real about defense and who was being thrown out and pitching and whatnot. I love Richie, man.
Well, it was very interesting, the Rod Beck thing that he brought up about how he wants to get ready. And then, because I'm a big, you got to throw strikes, right? You don't want to dance around people because you don't want to get your pitch count up. Mm-hmm. You want to be available multiple days. Like that. I think that was part of, there's many reasons. But one of the many reasons why Brian Wilson wasn't sustainable long term, the dude went 3-2 with everyone.
Yeah.
He's part of the reason we went torture.
Yeah, I know, Brian.
And I love the guy, and everything was like, I got to throw it as hard as I can.
I'm telling you, go back on the DVR, go watch Game 6 against Philadelphia again, and when Brian Wilson came into the game, and his scouting report, as Tim McCarver read it off, said, great fastball, pitches on guts. And I swear to God in my mind, I said, pitches on guts? That's second on the scouting report? Guts is not going to get you past Ryan Howard.
He tried to throw a slider. He tried to throw a slider, but he was all fastball.
How did Ryan Howard, you want to talk about, we always talk about Sergio Romo versus Jay Bruce in 2012. Yeah. How the hell did Ryan Howard not hit one to New Jersey in Game 6 of 2010?
He never really recovered from that series.
No, I don't think he did.
Well, he's one of the great woulda, coulda, shouldas.
We broke his fibula against the Cardinals in Game 5.
That was the next year? 2011 when they won it?
Yeah.
When they won it? Am I wrong?
Or broke his fibula in it was after.
Because they had won it in 2009.
Yeah, they won it against the Tampa Rays. 2008, I want to say.
Okay, against the Rangers or the Rays?
No, the Rays. Tampa Bay Rays.
B.J. Upton.
Yep.
Yeah.
B.J. Upton.
I love
Carl
B.J.
Crawford.
Upton. Yeah.
Carl Crawford, Evan Longoria, James Shields, Matt Garza. You had Scott Kazmir was on that roster.
Scott Kazmir?
Yeah, Rocco Baldelli was hurt.
Wow,
they had a really good.
Kazmir.
Carlos Pena was the DH for that team. It should have been Barry Bonds as the DH for that team. But, baseball wanted to keep him out the game. But Philadelphia, Ryan Howard, I believe he broke his fibula the next year after the Giants season.
At the end of that series, right?
Game 5. It was the final game of that first-round series against the Cardinals. He grounded out, and he broke his fibula right down the line.
David Freese moments.
There it was. David Freese, by the way, declined an invitation to the Cardinals Hall of Fame.
Did you see what was going on there? He said that he wasn't worthy. And if you look at his numbers, look at his St. Louis numbers.
Yeah.
They're not that good. For some reason, he got an all-star game. I don't really know how. But you look at his numbers. Now, he's from St. Louis.
Right.
At least the
Cardinals
area.
fan.
Yeah, grew up a Cardinals fan, went to JC in that area.
Yep.
And I think part of why he did that, he's like, oh, this guy's not in, that guy's not in, I shouldn't be in. And I kind of respect that, man.
Yeah,
I do kind of respect that.
Jose Kendall finally getting in. Spadoni, you want to get in here? What you got?
I'm just looking at Ryan Howard's numbers since we just got
He
on
was
this.
so sick.
How does he not, look halfway through his career, he had 382 home runs. He was easily on track for 500, clear Hall of Fame path, but after that 2010 run, man, it just felt like he just completely fell off. All right, hold on. Scroll down.
Because this is where, real quick, and this is why, you guys want to trip over yourselves saluting Brandon Belt. I mean, like Ryan Howard had a 5-year run. That's as good as anyone's.
Yeah, no, you look at 2006, he was an all-star, 58 home runs.
Yeah, I remember
you
that.
look at 2007, 47 home runs, 2008, 48, 2009, 45, 2010, 31, and then the next year, 33, and then after that, 14, 11, 23, 25.
He still finished with 382 home runs, right?
He was so sick.
He finished with 382 home runs.
One of the all-time what could have beens with Ryan Howard. He was sick.
He was sick.
That 5-year stretch from 06 to 11. He had 262 home runs, 796 RBI. 274 batting average, OPS 929, slugging 559. I mean, the guy was an absolute, and it was Chase Utley, it was Jimmy Rollins,
Flying Hawaiian,
Banez, a Flying Hawaiian, Shane Victorino, Carlos Ruiz at catcher, and they had a staff.
Oh, not Omar Infante. Was it Policio Polanco?
Policio Polanco, yep.
Yeah,
PP.
Yes, that's who it was. So, okay, he was on the infield as well for that team.
So he tore that he broke that fibula in Game 5 against the Cardinals, came back the next year, 2012. Remember, he was 31 when he did that. So came back 71 games as a 32-year-old, only batted 219. Then he had he just could never stay healthy. The strikeouts went up.
Yeah.
The strikeouts were always a problem.
Well, he gained a lot of weight.
He gained, he got injured.
He was always a big boy, though.
Dude.
He was
58,
sick.
47, 48, 45, 31, 33.
The Phillies are one of those great mid-2000s video game teams.
They were. And they got the one World Series.
So should have won more, though.
I mean, Chase Utley was so sick in that Yankees World Series. That was an underrated World Series. Yankees-Phillies.
It was sick.
Really good series.
That's a good call. It was
really good series. A-Rod finally got that ring.
I was pulling for Philly.
George Steinbrenner's last World Series. The old boss got that final one. Derek Jeter's last World Series. Very good team.
A-Rod.
I know I said that.
I know,
first
but,
World Series.
Should have played short.
It's the captain. Come on.
The captain.
It's Derek Jeter. Put some respect on his name. Talk about it. I should have made the top 7 30 for 30s. Jeter? Grandma was a Yankee fan? Come on, that was sick.
You love Jeter.
That was sick. I do
you
love Jeter.
Jeter way more than I do.
He's
great.
I love Jeter. Actually, I do like the Yankees, man. I don't hate the Yankees.
Well, of course, you're a front runner.
No. I just know how to broaden my horizons. I'm not a homer. I just don't watch Giants baseball. I watch all baseball.
Stop being a homer, bro.
So how does your Oriole affiliation conflict with your Yankee love?
Oh, I don't love the Orioles like that again. You disrespected them so much. Talking about, they haven't been good in 30
lost 115
years.
games.
Okay, but you forget the early 2010s. They were really good. Buck Showalter couldn't get them over the top.
I can't stand Buck Showalter.
They won 93, 85, 96, 81, 89 games. And they should have won some series, and they didn't. Buck Showalter failed to play Zach Britton in the playoff game against Toronto. They got swept in the ALCS. They took an ALDS 5 game. I mean, they had talent. And you were disrespecting them, saying, look, they're coming up, man. They got some young studs there. Pac-Man Jones. How can you not respect Pac-Man Jones?
Well,
Adam Jones.
It's Adam Jones. The other guy was Pac-Man Jones.
Well, he's a real Pac-Man. Adam Jones, Baltimore Oriole, by way of the Seattle Mariners, was sick in center field. Sick. Team was sick. So I love their logo. I respect the history of the Baltimore Orioles, those 70s teams.
Okay.
Frank Robinson, Jim Palmer, they had some great teams. It's a great history in Baltimore. Got to respect it. The Yankees, great history. You respect winning. You respect that the Yankees, no matter what, who's on the field, it's World Series or bust. I could roll with a fan base and an organization like that. That's what I love about the 49ers so much. It's Super Bowl or bust. We're not satisfied with NFC title game appearances.
The Yankees and Niners, very similarly. Big drought right now.
But the Giants, some of us Giants fans, you know what? We're having fun. Woo!
We are.
Woo! No expectations. Woo!
We are having fun.
Let's take it better. Woo!
I mean, they took our Carlos Rodon, and he hasn't even thrown a pitch for them.
Oh, well, I tell you about that.
I was way wrong on that.
Yeah, don't sign him. Flynn told us, hey, I don't know about that. And I was with Flynn. Don't sign Carlos Rodon. Saw it coming a mile away.
Well, can you tell me has he thrown a pitch yet
with
this team this week?
Has he thrown a pitch yet?
No, I said that.
Carlos Rodon?
He hasn't thrown one pitch.
Damn.
And he had the mental blocks. Him and Clay.
What, Clay? Oh, Clay won a world championship with that mental block, after the mental block.
No, I was just saying he said I didn't mean like that. I meant he said the same thing that Clay had said regarding coming back from the injury. He was having mental blocks, and then the Yankee media went completely insane on him, saying like mental blocks. You're paid to throw. Throw.
You ever been to Baltimore?
Who,
Baltimore's
me?
fun.
No, I haven't been to Baltimore.
It looks like The Wire. Like you drive through there.
Soft shell crab, McCormick's.
Soft shell crab, the crab cakes, really good.
Yeah,
really good out there. Love Baltimore. Camden Yards.
Trying to stay away from carbs right now, so crab cakes aren't really in my.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah, my lexicon.
Saying,
getting back on the shake thing.
Baltimore's legit. They're crabs, and then you hang a right from Camden Yards, and it's like their version of the TL.
Okay.
And there's a Hustler Club. I cannot unsee this. The U was missing from Hustler.
Okay.
The B was missing from Club. It was the dingiest yellow sign. Like, how we got the Hustler Club out here.
Yeah, Larry Flint's Hustler
Theirs
Club.
looked out there, and I was with Big Dog City. We're driving through. I was like, whoa, where are we at here? We're a couple blocks away from Camden Yards. It was the dingiest strip club I've ever seen. It was like, good Lord, pray for the people who walk in that place. Baltimore, man.
Were they yelling, not here comes Omar, here comes Bonte?
No.
Here comes Bonte!
No. Bonte had the windows up, lean back, making sure I'm not catching anything.
How's my hair look?
Make sure we're not getting caught in the drive-by. Ask Big Dog City about that. Whew. Baltimore, a lot of fun. Got to go to Baltimore, man. Shout out to the Orioles, man. They're playing well. Beat the Tampa Bay Rays yesterday, 8-6. And they put it on the Giants. Boy, let me tell you, they put it on the Giants that weekend. Boy,
everybody was hurt.
Well, they're still hurt now. They won 9 in a row.
Yeah, but
is that an excuse?
They've got the bulk of their things back. Who's the injury that you're most worried about? Is it Cobb? Is it Lamont Wade?
Well, you got Lamont Wade. Think about this. Lamont Wade, Alex Cobb.
Alexander.
Scott Alexander now.
Yep.
Wood just came back.
And I don't trust him.
Mitch Haniger.
Hanny. I'm okay with that right now. I mean, it sucks for him.
Joey Bart, is he back in the minors?
Yeah, he's in the minors.
What is he doing in Sacramento?
Probably, getting ready to board a plane to go somewhere else.
Damn.
I mean, it is what it is.
So, they've dealt with injuries.
And then you're also neglecting to bring up some of their other ones. They just got Luke Jackson back. It's been a minute since we've seen him on the big league club, so he came back recently, and that's good to see. And then you also have Wilmer Flores is on the IL right now, so he's the guy, as Richie was talking about, they're going lefty versus lefty.
Right.
You would think that in a certain situation, he might take a Joc at bat, or for example, last night, like they'd go to the righty there. I don't know. So it's very interesting. But Lamont Wade, the side tightness, I'm worried it might be an oblique, and they need him back.
Yeah.
But he also needs to get right because the oblique can be a lingering injury.
I'm just worried that they're not going to be able to fill the staff here, man. They may have to call up Kyle Harrison to pitch 3 innings or 4 innings.
I'm coming around more. They're going to have to swing a deal.
They're going to have to do something.
And I think they need to jump the market to try to get a guy or two.
But you heard from Tony Gwynn Jr., there's a lot of buyers this year. There's a lot of people who believe they can make a run for the World Series. Look at all these teams in it. My Baltimore Orioles at 45-27. Aaron Hicks got picked up for the Yankees. He's balling with the Orioles. But you got the Orioles. You got the Rays. You got the Yankees. Even the damn Red Sox.
I hate them.
You know what I'm saying? Like, look at these standings here. Tony Gwynn Jr. said it. There's going to be a lot of buyers. Let's think about Tampa Bay, Baltimore, the Yankees. We talk all we want about Toronto. They're 40-35.
Well, they're there.
All right? They're right there.
They're in the mix.
They're in the mix. Minnesota.
By the way, the Bo Bichette card, very difficult to come by in MLB The Show. I just acquired it. I'm very happy.
Him and Luis Arise got over 100 hits. Arise now batting 398.
He went 5 for 5 the other day.
I know. Oh, trust me. He's on my fantasy team.
He's so good.
Oh, I see it. Allen and Braves, right? Miami Marlins at 42-32. Are they going to be buyers? We know Philadelphia at 38-35 are going to buy.
That's my Marlins.
That's your Marlins team?
Yeah,
I like the Marlins, though. You can claim that.
Well, I was early a Jazz Chisholm adopter.
Yeah, but he's not doing anything.
No, he got
Luis
hurt in
Ariz.
center field, and actually, I think he needs to move back to shortstop.
Yeah, he's not even a factor. It's Luis Ariz and Soler.
Well, he's their second baseman.
They got some ballers.
They need
in
to
Miami.
move Jazz back to shortstop.
Jeter left them in a good spot. Shout out Derek Jeter.
Jeter did not
Cincinnati
make that trade,
Reds.
by the way.
Cincinnati Reds.
Pedro Pablo for him.
Cincinnati Reds.
Did not make that trade.
Are they going to buy? Milwaukee, are they going to buy? Chicago Cubs, 3.5 back. I don't know what they're going to do. The Diamondbacks, are they going to buy? Think about all these teams that are buying. If you're a seller, do you sell right now?
I mean, there's only one team in the NL West that's done. And I'm going to say it right now. Colorado, you're done.
They're finished.
Everyone else is in the mix. And think of that. They are like aggressive San Diego Dodgers. They're win now.
Yeah.
Right?
They're going to be a buyer.
Exactly. I don't know what Arizona's going to do.
The Houston Astros, they're going to buy.
Of course.
Seattle, 35-36. Actually swung a deal yesterday in fantasy. It's Chede Julio Rodriguez.
For what?
Luis Castillo. I needed pitching.
Really?
I needed an arm.
2 guys on the same team.
Yeah.
It's an
I needed
interesting
an arm.
trade.
Yeah, I sucker Phillies too. I knew he loves offense, even though he needs pitching in the league.
Yeah.
I need pitching.
So that's a great example of a move that the Mariners made last year where they were feeling good. They were in the mix. They traded from the Reds. They got him as a frontline starter. I think most people would say he's not a true ace, but he's a frontline starter. And I think it's paying dividends for them. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely.
And then they had team control rolling into this year. So that's, if I'm looking for a template for what the Giants should do, it's looking at a deal like that.
Yeah. Guru's out of first place, by the way, in our league. He is fading.
Is he ever coming back to work?
Jesus. Well, probably not now. He is depressed right now over his fantasy baseball team.
Does he have a family reunion every year?
He wanted to cut Steven Strider. I was like, bro.
No, he didn't. Strider's like leading all of baseball strikeouts.
But he's struggling, though.
Yeah,
the ERA's high.
Yeah.
High.
Okay, but
he's getting losses.
You
He's
get a
getting
lot
rocked.
Are you doing all the categories, though?
I tried to trade for him, yeah.
Yeah, so you get strikeouts and you get innings pitched and things like that.
Crab cakes taste better on a plane. I do agree with that. They taste good anywhere. Not just a plane. They taste good anywhere. Anywhere.
I can't find the Tums.
Tartar sauce on your crab cakes or no? Spicy marinara?
Both sound good.
I went to Joe's the other day and I had the calamari with the spicy marinara. Oh, so good.
I missed that.
Oh, shout out Joe's.
Hey, Soda, when am I off this diet? How long does this go, man? I got to lose 10 more pounds. I could wear the shirt again, but damn. Crab cakes, Westlake Joe's, marinara sauce.
Chick-fil-A.
I love it.
The fried chicken at the Go Club.
Bonte, Ricky Fowler. He doesn't show up on Sundays. Sponsored by Chick-fil-A.
The joke was good the first time. You forced it that time, Shasky. That was a force.
Well, you're going golfing today.
I might hit the golfing range, especially now that we have a virtual meeting. I may hit the range
so
virtually.
You're gonna be that guy, like the guy in sales. My camera's not working.
Stacey Kaufman, my camera is acting up right now. I can't take it.
Just put the AirPods in and then you're good.
There you go. Press mute.
No wonder your camera's not working because you're streaming 75 of your favorite baseball teams all at once.
You damn right. My Baltimore Orioles are red hot. They're going to be buyers. They'll be buying. Will Farhan buy?
It's a good thing they didn't trade
what
away
you gonna
Henderson.
do? Gunnar Henderson. Wow. They are hot. What? Look at Gunnar Henderson. Dude, it's a big-time matchup in the AL East. That's big-time baseball.
Too.
I was a big Rays fan. I used to be a big Rays fan. I'm not going to lie to you.
You can't have 4 teams in the AL East.
I love baseball.
That's it. No.
I love baseball.
Now you're just lying.
No, as Big Dog City, I was on when the Tampa Bay Rays made the World Series. I was on them in May. I told Big Dog City to call right now. I'm not lying to you.
Andrea's on the line, the astrologer. She says you're a Capricorn.
She's not on the line. And that's a bad joke, but I'll laugh at it anyway. What's coming up on the game? Sponsored by Save Martin, Lucky, California. We're going to talk more about my Orioles, my Yankees, my Rays, and my Giants. And my Oakland A's. How about the Oakland A's? Ruiz, now my starting center fielder, stealing bases every single day. They are up in Cleveland right now. Big series for the Oakland A's against the Cleveland Guardians. I care about them. Do you?
Stop being a homer, bro.
Lucky is helping to fuel your summer with free fuel for a limited time. Now through June 27th, earn up to $20 in gas rewards with purchase of specially marked items throughout the store in one transaction. Fill up the cart, then fuel up with free gas. Learn more at LuckySupermarkets.com.
Hi, welcome to the IKEA Midsummer Day.
Oh, man. You got to love it. You got to love Brandon Belt going opposite field for a single off of Sandy Alcantara. That's right, Shasky. We all watched it in the studio. Brandon Belt, second leading vote getter for the All-Star game. If you're looking for the best Giants talk in the Bay Area, well, then check out the Morning Oh, wait. The Garlic Fries and Baseball Guys podcast. So, Joe Shasky and Sam Lubman. They bring you all you need to know about this Giants season every single week. New episodes are now available wherever you listen to your podcast. That's right. The Summer of Love continues to roll along. Our official Giants insider here on the Morning Roast on 95.7 The Game. Brandon Belt 1-for-1 today down in Miami against the Marlins. It's a big game. Got a lot of big baseball games today. A lot of big games. Got the Orioles playing the Rays. You got the Braves and Phillies. You got the Yankees taking on Seattle. You got the L.A. series, the City of Angels. What do they call it? The freeway series between the Angels and the Dodgers. Dodgers win 2-0 last night. A lot of good stuff happening.
You Darvish tonight against Ryan Walker for however many, pitches.
Yeah. You know what? What's been the bigger rule change? The banning of the shift or the pitch clock?
For the consumer or the players?
For everybody.
See, I believe that the shift has actually helped a lot of players. So, look, let's think about Mike Yastrzemski. He's a left-handed hitter, right? When a guy gets on base, right, your first baseman has to hold that guy on. It opens up more room for a lefty to be able to pull the ball, which is what they all want to do. Now, the fact that you can't shift, it creates more space when a guy gets on in front of him. And so, to me, I think the no shifting has been absolutely huge.
Yep.
It's brought athleticism back into the game. It's prioritized speed at second base, range at third base, obviously range at shortstop. And I think it's opened things up for a lot of these left-handed hitters. You're seeing the overall median batting average go up this year, which is good. More balls in play.
Luis Arraez.
More base running. But I think the pitch clock has been more influential for the consumer.
No
the
doubt
games
about
have
that.
been way faster, and no one barely even notices
Yeah, I
it.
know. We could go to bed before 10 o'clock now. Go figure.
And remember, you were like, oh, it doesn't matter about the time of the game. These games go on forever. We were arguing about that, and I'm like, dude, look, starting at 6:30 or 6:40 or whatever it is, and then the game being done in 2:20 is huge. 2:30, it's huge.
No, it is huge. It is huge. But you guys were crying a little too much about the clock. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
it's
most
better for
kids-
the pitch clock.
So right
but
now,
I just wasn't crying about the time of games.
Well, no, but here's the thing: as your daughter starts to get older and whatnot, you don't want to be putting her in bed if you want to turn her into a sports fan in the most crucial parts of the game.
My daughter goes to bed when she wants to go to bed. She ain't listening to us no more. Last night we put her down to bed about 7:30. She cried, wanted to stay up. Then she ate some ravioli. Then she was playing around. Then all of a sudden it was, I want to sleep in Mama and Papa bed for the first time in who knows how long.
Oh.
And so she slept in the bed with us. I think we slept before her. And then she, I woke up and her foot was on my forehead. So there you go.
I'll be there when I be there.
But you know what? She's going to be a gamer. She'll go to sleep when she go to sleep. She'll figure out a way to get it done. She will. She will.
Okay, so other than you and your parenting, and which is fine, and I'm glad that you're able to do whatever you want.
Don't go
Other
there.
people are saying that when you got young kids, they got to go to bed, especially in April and May and parts of June, and then into September. You got to go to bed and be ready for school.
Kill the Mets time. It's the hell with the kids.
But if this is about drawing a larger audience,
The hell
that
with
does
the
matter.
kids. Yeah, there you go. The hell with the kids.
It's the same reason why
They
the
ain't all
finals
about the kids.
Same reason why the finals started
Man.
at 5:30 now.
Kids run my life right now. Get the hell with the kids. All right? It's about me when it comes to sports. It's my time. My time. I give a radio to my 8-year-old and 11-year-old and ask them to listen in bed after 9:30 p.m. That's actually a great parent.
That's really good.
I like that.
That's really good.
I like that.
Well, I just think that the pitch clock has been a monumental success,
been
and everyone
really good.
wants to rip Manfred, and he's got a lot of warts, and I'm here for all the ripping of it. But we got to give him credit. The rule changes, which are dramatic, have really worked out. Everyone worried about the throwovers to first base. We've seen more guys in movement. We've seen more steals. Giants might have a 30-base stealer this year in Tyro Estrada.
They might. It just might.
I mean, these rules have worked.
Austin and San Jose, who talks about themselves more? Steiny Dibs or Bonte. You, Austin, you talk about yourself more. Let's go to John.
That's on me.
Whoa.
John, San Francisco, what's happening?
Hey, it's going well. Hey, we as the Warriors need a big guy to compete with the Joker and AD and everybody else. And two of them that are available is Joel Embiid and Cat from Minnesota. Cat would be a great fit for us because he can run better than Joel and he's healthier. And the numbers work to get him if we include Poole and Moses and one draft pick, because that's been floated around already with other teams, and maybe do a swap for another draft pick. But the Warriors will not win another champion without a big man to help them down low and to pass. Hey,
John,
we need one of those two.
John, what about Draymond Green? What do you do there first?
I'd sign him for a 4 or 5 year deal, but not for the max that he wants. I'll give him 4 for 80 or 5 for 90, but he's not worth a max, unfortunately, because he cannot shoot the three consistently or even an outside jump shot consistently. And if he got that down, he would deserve the max.
So 5 years.
4 for 80 would be reasonable.
Oh,
I'm
4
down
for 80,
that.
I'd be
He
totally
said
in
4
on.
for 80.
Totally in on.
$20 million a year. Now is Draymond Green accepting that 40? Think about it. He was a second round pick. He's cashed in on his career. You're talking about, not having those expectations and being a second round pick, 35 overall, and the money he's made, the All-Star games he's been to, the championships he's won, the all-defensive teams. Draymond Green's had one hell of a career so far. And he's cashed in. He's gotten everything and more out of his career. His body, everything.
Does the LeBron thing bug you at all?
Not really. I don't care. Not really. It bugs a lot of people. I get it.
You think it bugs Steph?
It's a great question. I don't know the answer to that.
I was hearing from a couple of people that are really tapped in on the high level AAU circuit. I heard some really bad things about LeBron. Just in general. A lot of sore loser stuff about LeBron. And it kind of, not that LeBron's some bad dad. I'm not indicting the man or whatever. I'm saying in regards to how he conducts himself in this AAU little circuit, this bubble at the top end. I've heard a lot of just sore loser stuff. Crying and complaining, challenging people's ages, stomping on the court when he's not a coach at all. Just some behavior that would be unbecoming of another parent.
He basically acts like he does on an NBA floor.
Kinda.
He does the same thing at an NBA game. He cries. He stomps. We saw what happened in Boston. Throws tantrums.
Don't you think I've probably, of the two of us, I've probably been more of a LeBron apologist than you?
Yeah.
Over the years.
I
know you're his fan. I'm not saying you're not a fan.
No. You have been a LeBron apologist,
okay.
which is weird.
So, that's why I'm telling you, when I heard this stuff, it kind of damn, dude. Because I do think we're going to miss him when he's done. I
listen.
do. I think society, content, people, basketball fans, we are going to miss him when he goes.
You may miss him. I won't. I miss Jordan a lot more than I actually miss Kobe Bryant a lot more than LeBron than I will LeBron.
Yeah, LeBron's still here. Give him a couple years where he's not here.
I'm not going to miss him. I'm not going to miss his antics.
We miss great players.
I'm not going to miss his antics.
Okay.
I'm not going to miss his antics. I promise you that, Shasky. I'm seriously. He's done more harm to the game than good. Now, he's gotten players paid, but all this crying, all this forming big threes, all this AAU type of stuff, he's like another AAU parrot. Apparently, you see AAU parrots, they all do that. Isaiah Ryder got his team taken away for the way he acted. Do you know Isaiah Ryder tried to fight a referee in the AAU tournament down in Phoenix? Try to fight a ref. All these guys do this.
No, this is what I would say.
It's not just LeBron.
I think it's unfair to paint broadly. I bet you there are tons of good parents in whatever travel ball AAU circuits, but the few bad apples give everyone a bad name.
They do.
So I don't think it's fair because I think there are a lot of really good ones, but the handful of bad ones are so over the top, it gives everyone a bad name.
Would you miss Draymond Green if he leaves the Warriors? Will you miss Draymond?
Yeah. Absolutely you'll miss Draymond.
No, I'm asking you, will you miss Draymond Green?
Yeah, of course I will.
All right.
There's a lot of things that he does really well on the team, but I also believe that they're in a really tough spot. How do you improve if you lose a player who's very important to you? But if you keep him, how do you improve Kuminga, and how does JP roll back?
Yeah.
There's this huge catch-22.
Yeah. No, look, when it comes to LeBron, that's an interesting question. Will you miss LeBron? I'm not going to miss LeBron James. He's a great player. I respect everything in his career.
Okay.
But I will be ready to move on. I got LeBron fatigue.
Okay.
I do. Well, I will be ready to move on.
So, for example, I think we all were ready to move on from Brett Favre Everyone. Now,
I never miss Brett Favre.
No, I think there are some people that miss the gunslinger. I'm not talking about the person who's now a criminal. I'm talking about for a couple years, there was people were missing him. And LeBron's infinitely more impactful to his sport and to society than Brett Favre.
I'll tell you, me personally, the act he pulled on Green Bay, because that's one thing we don't talk about enough with Brett Favre.
What's that?
Green Bay said, all right, fine. We'll let you come back.
We won't let you go to the Vikings.
No. But how about you compete with Aaron Rodgers? May the best man win.
He didn't want to.
He didn't want to compete. He got scared.
Yeah.
You're the best. You're a Hall of Famer. Go compete with Aaron. Screw Brett Favre. Everything about him. I never missed him. I was so happy. His shenanigans with the New York Jet. And then he became a Viking. And then he started saying, when I was looking at that New York Jet helmet, it just never felt right. Like, shut up and go away. Guys like him, go away.
Did you miss Bonds? Did you miss Bonds?
Well, I miss Barry Bonds, yes.
Okay.
I miss Bonds.
Okay. He was a villain to everyone else.
I miss Bonds. But you get over it. Like, I miss Lincecum right now. Yeah, I do. I miss Jeff Kent. I'm maybe the only guy who misses Jeff Kent.
Yeah, but I would say that those guys had smaller windows than what we saw from LeBron, for example. LeBron's been in your face for 20 years.
Yeah, and that's why I'm ready for him to get out of my face.
Well, I would say this. At the end of Michael Jordan, I was rooting for other people because I've never been like the way everybody's in over-the-top Michael. Clearly, I recognize how great he is and his impact and everything. But I wasn't like at every single turn slobbing over myself when it comes to Michael Jordan. I wanted to see Stockton and Malone beat him at that time.
Oh, my God.
I did.
Oh, my God.
I liked Hornacek.
Oh, you liked Hornacek?
Who didn't?
Everything makes so much sense.
Yeah, I was rooting for them to knock him off. I was tired of him winning.
Said no one ever. You may be the only guy from San Francisco rooting for Jeff Hornacek.
Yeah, I was.
Oh, my God.
And when he'd rub the face shooting free throws as an indicator to his children that he says hi and daddy loves him. What? I love Jerry Sloan.
Oh my God. Oh my God. You're rooting for Jeff Hornacek.
Yeah, I was rooting for Michael Jordan to lose. Absolutely.
I know a lot of people hated
The first repeat, I was rooting for him.
Oh, man.
After they won the 73, that was awesome. And toward the end, I wanted someone else. And I loved that Sonics team.
Right.
I was very conflicted because I love Peyton and I love Sean Kemp. Spawn.
Oh my
Rain
gosh.
Man.
Oh my gosh. You and Steiny may be the only guys who ever rooted. Did Steiny find out? Steiny rooted for Jeff Hornacek. I know Steiny's anti-Jordan. We know that. We get that. Larry Bird is a guy. I get it. I can't get enough of Michael Jordan. That's why I keep watching In Last Dance, because it's greatness. The guy was obsessed with greatness. Made him crazy.
Dude,
and I find some of those same qualities inside my body. Like, you know what? I'm obsessed with it.
Well, here's where I'm saying.
Which is why, in my career and to a point, Danny Fryer, former assistant program director, used to say, Bonte, you need to get the chip off your shoulder. Why do you always have a chip on your shoulder? I said, for every hater out there, every single day, I add them to the list. I say, you know what? I'm going to perform at the highest of highest levels because of you. Keep motivating me. That's why I love Michael Jordan. The hell, rooting for Jeff Hornacek and Byron Russell.
Just one time.
Oh,
I was tired of seeing the same guy win over and over again.
City.
They
don't deserve it.
Everybody was zigging. I was zagging.
You want to talk about some of the most ruthless fans in the NBA?
Yeah, okay.
Those fans don't deserve.
I didn't know that.
They didn't deserve it. You could tell Utah. I remember Tim Roy.
I'm not going to do that to the great state of Utah.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, boys. That arena, I remember listening to the games on the radio during the We Believe series when they were playing the Utah Jazz. And they were calling so many damn fouls. And I never forget Tim Roy saying, that's only a call in this arena, in this state, in Salt Lake City. I was like, damn. Even Tim Roy's going out there on a limb.
10 years later. I mean, the
it's
shot
always been
happened
like
in
that.
'98.
Do you remember when the Warriors got into a brawl in the playoff series with the Utah Jazz? Back when George Karl was the coach? I mean, those fans are
I hate
they're
George
ruthless. They're ruthless.
Just saying, the last year I was rooting against Jordan. So what?
I just never heard.
I'm not one of these like everybody. If everybody loves Jordan, I'm not allowed as one person to be like, I'm ready for somebody else to win. That's all.
I can't believe he said I was rooting for Jeff Hornacek.
That's all.
That's fine.
Nobody's making.
I know. I'm not
and then
kidding.
after he left, we all wanted him back. And I was wrong.
Oh, that Jeff Hornacek.
I admit my failures.
Oh, that poor Jeff Hornacek. Had to go out there trying to guard Michael Jordan. Why people get mad at me? I didn't do nothing. Gosh, I didn't do nothing. Just never met a guy who rooted for Utah in any series before. That's all. I'm not hating. I just find it funny.
Well, I mean, it's kind of ironic because you've been in a suite with Dwayne Wade, and Dwayne Wade was part owner of the Utah Jazz. I'm sure you didn't share your Utah Jazz, stuff with him.
No, it was pretty quickly.
I'm sure that Dwayne Wade rooted for Utah for the 5 minutes he was part owner.
Yeah. Even Dwayne Wade probably says, yeah, Utah's different. Yeah. You think Dwayne Wade actually stayed a night in Salt Lake City? He probably got on a private jet, got to Salt Lake City for the game, and as soon as the game was over, get me the hell out of Utah, get me back to LA.
Look, I like Steve Young, all right? He went to BYU.
I like Steve Young, too.
He's got roots.
Andy Reid went to BYU.
He's got roots at Brigham Young University.
I got no problem with BYU. I got no problem with the state
Andy
of Utah.
Reid, one of your favorite play callers.
You just say come out
Andy
here
Reid,
caping
offensive line,
for the Utah
BYU,
Jazz.
You know?
Caping for the Utah Jazz.
Norm Chow.
Come on, man.
BYU.
Gosh. Nah, don't move the goalpost, man. Don't move it. Don't move it to football. We got a lot of love for BYU. Ty Dittmer winning the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah.
I got a lot of love for them. I got a lot of love for BYU, the way they handled the Miami Hurricanes in the early 90s and blew them out in Provo, Utah. Go look that up. Huh, Sam Lutman? 888-957-9570. We're just having fun, man. What's everybody say? It's a Wednesday. It's in the summer. The Giants are rolling right now. Why can't we all just smile and have fun?
So am I a bad person? Because after the second, third time around, I was rooting
for Jeff Hornacek.
Well, Hornacek and Stockton and Malone.
That must have been a miserable experience.
No, it was just
rooting for Jeff Hornacek.
Just enjoying it.
Rooting for Jeff Hornacek sounds miserable.
They were fun.
Rooting for John Stockton and Carl Malone,
they were a good
especially
team.
the Carl Malone we know today.
No, timeout. They were a good team.
That sounds miserable.
What do you mean?
Rooting for Greg Ostertag sounds miserable. Rooting for Byron Russell and Howard Isley sounds miserable.
You didn't have Jordan fatigue, even a little?
Absolutely not. I couldn't get enough of Jordan. Like Tiger Woods.
I mean,
like Serena Williams. These are the greats of the greats.
I rooted against LeBron his entire career because it was a Kobe LeBron thing for the longest time. Okay. Up until he became a Laker, that's the only time I've ever rooted for LeBron James. So I'm with you on that, Joe. Like certain times, like if you want, like you don't want your guy getting surpassed, and that's eventually what happened. And I can admit it now. And maybe it's easier because he is a Laker. But yeah, for the longest time, there was that little rivalry, and I never wanted to see him win.
And look, you also have to understand that, like, as a Warrior fan, it was like, dude, we got to root for somebody when you get to the finals at some point. And you just casually, like, I was
Wade Dibbs, bar conductor. I was rooting for Utah in '98 as well.
See,
Tyler Jordan.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
Thank you.
Guys don't appreciate greatness.
No,
and then when it leaves,
greatness.
you guys start globbing out to the last dance. Like, oh my God, Jordan. Oh my God. Already had a Jordan. I'm wearing Jordan today. Matter of fact, I thought we had the all-staff meeting in person, so I actually wore jeans today.
Michael Jordan's he's literally on my shirt right now.
There you go.
All I'm saying is, when you got to the sixth one, I was like, you know what? I wouldn't mind seeing Utah win.
The mailman.
It's not the end of the world.
I would root for Dennis Rodman any day of the week before John Stockton and Karl Malone.
What about Tom Brady? Were you rooting for him in every single Super Bowl?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Everyone.
Absolutely. Absolutely, I was. I rooted for him against absolutely. I'm just asking. There's not one Super Bowl I rooted against Tom Brady, actually. I respect the Patriots.
Do you have Brady fatigue?
I wanted him to go to 19. Absolutely
didn't
not.
you have Brady fatigue?
No, just like Jordan.
I thought you didn't want him on the Niners.
One of one.
Wait a minute.
I didn't want him on the Niners, but that doesn't mean I didn't love Tom Brady. That has nothing to do with anything. That makes no sense at all. Because I didn't want him on the Niners. I was let Jimmy Garoppolo rock it. It wasn't his fault they lost the Super Bowl.
So I don't appreciate greatness, but you're over LeBron.
No. I am over LeBron. That's me. That's me. I can be over certain guys.
Well, that's kind of where I was,
I just tell the truth. I tell it like it is. I rooted for Brady in every one of those Super Bowls. I did. Even against the Eagles.
But I'm not mad at people who root against the Warriors.
I'm not mad at you either.
No, but all I'm saying is like, I know a lot of people that aren't Warrior fans. They're like, yeah, they're sick of the Warriors. And I get that. And that's part of becoming one of the all-time greats, is that people get fatigued by you.
All I said was, it sounded like a miserable experience rooting for the Utah Jazz, man.
You're pretending like I had like a Utah jersey and I was in the front
like
row,
it at all.
like waving a mountain sign.
What does it mean that I didn't want Brady as a Niner? That makes no sense. Respect Brady. He's a great quarterback. What'd you say, Lubman?
No, sorry. That was my bad. premature mic there, but I will say it takes a lot out of you rooting against someone rather than rooting for. Like, hate watching someone is very, very. It takes a lot out of you, and I don't like emotionally investing like that. Like sometimes you will because you'll have a rivalry. Like I don't want to see like the Houston Astros. Like I hated rooting against them. They won it last year. I can't stand them because I'm an A's fan and they were cheaters. Like they got caught cheating and never paid the consequence for it. But I hate what it does to me at the end of the day. It's like, do I feel small? A little bit, but that's sports, right?
I'm going to back off. What do you guys want to talk about? Now we got the bully word.
Do you know any... Who said the bully word?
Oh, God.
Bully Bate.
This is sports.
I'm just
Come
trying
on,
to figure
man.
out how everybody...
Relax.
No one's bullying here. Come on.
Just sounded miserable rooting for the Utah Jazz. That's all. I never know that. I just find it funny. He picks part at me. We all talk about each other. Calm down, people. It's a Wednesday. Giants won 9 in a row. They're going for 10. All right? They're going for 10. Let's chill.
You know, the NBA draft tomorrow.
Christ.
Have you done any homework on like players that are available?
The only homework I've done is Chris Murray because I want Chris Murray.
So where do they think he's going to fall?
Probably top 15. They say there's a chance he could fall to 19, but I doubt it.
Well, explain people his profile.
Well, Chris Murray's a twin brother of Keegan Murray out of Iowa, and he's a lefty. He's a lefty.
Are their games comparable?
Very comparable. He's a shooter. He kind of tries. He's got the midi.
Same
he
age.
got a lot better. Yeah, basically.
Going to be 23.
They're identical twins. So he's coming out of Iowa, but he's just a lefty. It's a difference between him and Keegan. Keegan's a righty. He's a lefty. Played a lot of time in Iowa. You know, a lot of people like those 3 or 4 year starters in college. And so he's basically kind of like Keegan. I would like him. He's 6'8". He's a wing.
So would you slot him behind Clay or Wiggins?
Yeah, obviously.
I mean, that's like a combo wing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
No doubt. If Murray's falling out of the, no way he's dropping. See, I see two different. He's dropping out of the first round, or he's got no shot to fall all the way to 19. Imani Bates is a name I heard, but he failed out of Memphis. He went to Eastern Michigan. He's a volume shooter. So those are only like the 2 guys I've really prepped for. Now, Lubman gave us this packet here because I don't even know if the Warriors are going to keep the 19th pick.
Well, you think they're going to move up?
Maybe they move out.
Move out?
Maybe they move out. Maybe they trade the pick.
I mean, they're going to make a deal tomorrow, right? Something. Like, they're not going to keep this many, like, youngsters, right? Rollins, Moody, Kuminga. I'll put Poole in the veteran category. Who else do they have? PBJ. And then whatever this pick is. And do they have a second rounder? Oh, yeah, they had like 7 second rounders from when they got, So, I mean.
Well, they flipped those second rounders. I don't know either. To me, it's still about what's happening with Draymond Green and what's going to happen with the Warriors. Do they move a big boy on draft night? Because Shams Charania is saying there's going to be a lot of deals happening tomorrow. A lot of deals. Now, which deal is that? Is it OG Anunoby? Is it Pascal Siakam? Is it Chris Middleton? Is it Dame Lillard?
The Toronto one's going to happen a year later, you think? They've been linked to Toronto for quite some time.
I don't know. I'm still fixated on Draymond Green and how much he's going to make per year. Here's what Monty Poole had to say about Draymond Green and his future with the Golden State Warriors.
Obviously, Mike Dunleavy was emphatic about they need Draymond yesterday. Joe was a little less emphatic, saying that, Draymond's done great things and we want him here. I think Steve Kerr wants him here. The question is, how far will Draymond push the financial package? With Draymond, it's more about the length of the contract. The reason it's not that he's saying, $27.5 million isn't enough. It's saying that he's saying he wants to have a longer term deal. And, it makes sense that he'd want a 3-year deal to line up with Steph Curry. And so, yeah, I think if you're Draymond, you're probably looking at 3 and 100, somewhere in that range.
Do you really care? Like, honestly, you really care if it's 22 or 33? Because I think most Warrior fans
care.
It's either he's back or he's not.
Yeah, probably.
I think we're in the weeds on the money.
Are we?
Maybe the diehards are in it like we are, but I think most fans are thinking like I'm talking about. Most fans are like either he's back or he's not. I don't know if price tag necessarily matters. Right now, I'm saying I don't think price tag matters right now. Either he's coming back or he's not.
I wonder if Warrior fans care about that. Lubman, do you care about the price point for Draymond Green? I think it's very important.
Because I don't think
3 years for $100 million sounds $33 million a year. Now think about the guys who are making 30 plus. And obviously it's not all about offense. That is one half of the game, and you need to get buckets, and the Warriors could not get buckets against the LA Lakers, especially easy buckets. I'm paying somebody $33 million a year. Can I get a double-double? Can I get 15 points a game?
How much is PJ Tucker making right now? It's like $9 million.
$9 million. Looney's making $7.5 million right now.
And I'm not saying Draymond is PJ Tucker, but I'm using these guys as points of reference because I'm trying to think of guys whose their value goes beyond their numbers. You referenced Looney,
yeah.
All right, and
$7.5 million for Looney.
So he's 3 to 4 times more than both of those players. See, to me, it's 2x. 3x feels steep. 4x feels way over the top.
All right. The YouTube audience, we want to let you know we got to restart the stream. Apparently, we got to restart the stream, and we're going to update it on our system. So shout out to everybody on YouTube. We're going to have to reset that bad boy. All 5 of you, including Austin to San Jose. Austin to San Jose. What is Mully saying? None of your damn business, Austin.
Mully,
but we'll have to
talk about
it. No,
Mully don't talk about.
No, not at all. We're going to end the YouTube before Fast 5 and have it back up in time.
So now I want to know. Were you rooting for the Knicks against Jordan at all?
No.
I like the Knicks, but
I like the Knicks.
I was rooting for them, but not like rooting for. I think I watched without a care. I was rooting for the Pacers.
I like great players. I love great players. Jordan, great.
Ewing wasn't great.
Magic, great. Ewing, but he wasn't on Jordan's level.
That I agree with 100%. No
I
one's
for Jordan.
I was pulling for
one of my first sports videos was "Come Fly with Me," Michael Jordan, and then Michael Jordan's Playground. And I was like, wow, this is I remember trying to do the moves in the playground when he lost to the Pistons. Like Jordan was my guy, and he was always on TV.
For the Pacers at all to beat them?
I liked Reggie Miller.
Okay,
I really liked Reggie Miller.
Because I was very conflicted there.
When the Pacers played the Knicks, I rooted for the Pacers.
Really?
I rooted for Reggie Miller.
Oh, against the Knicks. But what about against the Bulls?
I couldn't do it.
Couldn't do it?
I had to go Jordan. I wanted to see Jordan win 6.
I love Dale Davis, Antonio Davis, Rick Smits. That was a fun team. It's a very fun team.
I know a lot of people rooted against the Patriots.
Yes.
When they were 18-0 against the New York Giants, a lot of people were happy that the Patriots
Well, I didn't want Brady to eclipse all of Montana's stuff.
See, I wanted
and then I gave in.
I wanted 19-0.
The time for me when I gave in on Brady was when he beat the Seahawks. That was the moment where I was like, all right, I'm in. I'm in on the Brady experience.
Call Big Dog City. We're gonna have the 250
yards in the fourth quarter against the Legion of Boom.
Dude, I Big Dog City knows in the mid 2000s I was patch or pass. It started early for me with Patriots and Tom Brady.
Pats or pass.
That was my gambling. That was patch or pass. I would never pick against them. I'd never bet against them for like 15, 16 years straight. I would never do it. Never did it.
So you like all the lovable underdogs, the Baltimore Orioles, and then all of the top dogs, but hate everyone in the middle.
I don't hate everybody. I don't sports hate. I don't really hate watch.
But you're over LeBron.
Yeah, you asked me if I'm going to miss him. I'm like, no, not really.
Really?
I'll be fine. League's in a great place.